my dears. There's nothing like the rebel path, you know, when it kicks in. Yeah, do you feel the beat? Do you feel the beat? Do you know how it feels? It feels like 2023, my dears. I'm so glad to see you all here after the break. How's everyone doing, my dears? Is it loud enough? Tell me. I mean the music. This is the rebel path, obviously. Louder than my voice? That's perfect. Time to party like it's 2023, my dears. Exactly. Exactly like this. Exactly like this. Hello, hello. I'm really glad to be here with you, my dears. I missed you, holy hell. That's been like, what, a month or so? 3 weeks for sure, since I was live. There was like so many things that happened. I hope that you had a fantastic new year, that you spent some time partying, and that you had amazing New Year's Eve, and that the new year has started pretty awesome, you know? I really hope so, that that's the case. There's the question, is this soundtrack available anywhere? Well, Smokey83 on YouTube, I guess. In the game, you know, this is where it's available. We have also announced that the vinyl, Cyberpunk 2077 vinyl is coming. Yes, on Spotify, obviously. Exactly. You know, you got it as well together with the game. So, you know, I think that's the most important part. Arsen Majorstron. Arsen asks, vinyl with a question mark. The answer is yes. Yes, if you can check actually Janek Rosner on Twitter, he is our BizDev developer and BizDev director, sorry. And Janek has tweeted about it, that the vinyl is coming officially. So yes, it's awesome. It's great to be back. So, my dears, there's like lots of things that happened. And we have our special guest here today already with me. We'll switch to our guest and greet him here in a moment. But before that happens, I wanted to mention all other Reds and moderators that are already with us. So, I wanted to mention those that already have spoken on the chat, and that's our dear UI producer, Ayano. And Monica is also a streamer. She is streaming Destiny 2 and God of War. If you want to check her out, she's in my recommended streamers. We have outside of that Chivok, our customer support engineer. Mike, thank you so much for being here. And we have Small Sandayo Kira, our in-game photographer. Thank you, Kira, for being here. And of course, last but not least, that's what I meant to say. Last but not least, Bartek Pirko, our dear level designer. You can see him on the chat with a diamond icon. Bartek has appeared here last week, so he got the diamond icon from me because I confirmed his identity. That is in fact him. So that is Bartek as well. And if there will be more Reds, I will of course mention them as well outside of our fantastic guest, to whom we will talk in a second. And then I wanted to, of course, mention our incredible moderators. My dear girlfriend Sapphire, who's with us every single week, supporting me here with my streaming endeavor. And I'm really thankful for her being here. And then, of course, Kogito, who is here every single week when his son is not having a matches, and I hope that the matches went really well. The last one, all the chat and everyone here missed you, Kogito, and I'm really thankful that you are here. Now, so that being said, I will keep the Cyberpunk music playing at the background, but now I wanted to, my dears, introduce you my dear guest and my friend from CD Projekt RED. He is a long-standing employee. He is our engineering director. He is an audio programmer. He is a composer himself, and he's an amazing fucking dude. Outside of that, Colin Walder, Hello, Cole. Nice to have you with us, my friend.
Oh, oh, thank you very much, Pavel, for the very kind introduction. It's fantastic to be here. I'm super hyped.
Thank you, Cole, for being here. So, my dears, we wanted to actually do something with Colin, like, something special and something different, at the beginning. Colin is actually a very experienced dev. He has started a long time ago. So, I think, what we can do first is, Colin, tell us actually how it happened that you ended up in game dev in general and then in RED, because you've been doing lots of things before.
Yes. So my life story, I guess. A little
yes,
bit.
Your life story.
For at least my game dev life story. So I've been in game dev for I always lose count. I think 17 years now. So since 2006 was when I first joined in, and for almost all of that time I've been an audio programmer. So my first job was as an audio programmer in the industry. Still I have one foot in the audio programming, although I expand now a little bit onto the management side as well as an engineering director. My first job way back then, if any of you can remember, back in 2006, this was just at the turning point of the PS3, Xbox 360 generation. Those consoles were just.
I remember that time.
Just coming in, and this was actually key to my to me getting into the industry. So I was fresh out of university. I did a degree in physics, and then decided I didn't want to do physics. Actually, physics with space science and technology. So I wanted to be an astronaut. And the first thing they tell you on this degree is, you all came here because you want to be astronauts. You can't be astronauts. I'm sorry, get over it. I
didn't know this about it. I didn't.
Yes. Yeah. So this was my first degree, and after that, I was like, well, physics is mostly maths at that level, and that's not what I wanted to do day to day for the rest of my life. So I looked to switch to my other passion, which was music, and I did a master's degree in music technology at York University. And my thesis for my masters was it was called intelligent audio for video games, and the idea behind it that I had back then was that we could be using AI in addition to having things happening, characters moving in the game, NPCs behavior. We could be using AI in director systems to influence the music and the sound, which we'd already had some kind of things like this. There was some games back then.
It was very new at the time, right? I remember that was more like a novelty at the time.
Yeah, definitely back then. And my idea was that I really like the idea of bringing in sort of cinematic concepts, cinematic aesthetics into the game. So could we have in video games in real time some of those decisions that we would make in linear media, right? These creative sound decisions, which were maybe not always perfectly synchronized to what's happening on the screen, but something to try and build the emotion, to complement the story, to use sound and music in the same way that for years and decades actually in film they've been developing these ways to use sound. So this was my idea with it, and I came out of the university and I thought, okay, so I will go into games, I will become a sound designer. I had no experience, and everyone was like, no, we're not interested in you. So I started actually a recording studio in my bedroom. Very naive move. It didn't have really any success at all. And after a few months, the recruitment agencies started to come back to me and say, okay, so we don't have any sound design jobs, but what's your thoughts on audio programming? And I'd done a little bit of audio programming in my degree. I'd written some VSTs, so
okay,
sure, I know how to program. Of course, I can do that, no problem. So I got sent to some interviews around the UK in various places. Some of them went okay, some of them did not go okay.
And then you landed your dream job, right? Sort of.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, it's kind of an interesting story, which comes back to this thing that I mentioned about this turning point in the industry. Because the job that I started in, free radical design, and I got sent there by my recruitment agency. So I turn up, and they give me a test. It's a paper test, so it's got some questions on physics. Okay, great. I know my physics. I can do this. Some questions on audio. Okay, I know this. Some other questions that I don't know. And then someone else walks into the studio and says, "Hi, can't remember the guy's name." And the receptionist looks at this guy, looks at me, says, "Okay, but if he is this guy, who are you?" And it turns out my recruiter had sent me to the wrong studio. I didn't have an interview at this studio. There was a mix-up and they sent me here. But I was there anyway. I was doing the test and they said, "Okay, just finish the test." And in an entire plot twist, the studio recently had failed a milestone for not having audio there, and they didn't have any audio programmers. So they were very keen to hire some audio programmers. Okay. One of the directors of the company was free, interviewed me. And based on the passion that I had for the audio, basically I got the job. So this was how I broke into the industry.
That was like almost literally you broke in.
Yeah, almost literally broke in, right? Back then, and this was because we had this moment where there weren't that many audio programs. I mean, still there's not like super lots.
Exactly.
But back then,
exactly. It's a rare specialty in general. Like you mostly see them only in AAAs nowadays. I think. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And but we had this moment that the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were coming up. There was this appetite for more cinematic quality games. Let's say there was this. Okay, now we have enough power in the consoles where we can be more ambitious with the games, where we can reach out, we can extend that. And so there was this void in the audio where there weren't that many people around who were like super interested on the technical side, on the programming side of doing it, but B, just there weren't so many of positions like that.
Yeah.
And so I was able to step into this space, and very fortunate. I learned a lot on this job. I first learned how much I didn't know, which was a lot, and then I started to chip away at this amount that I didn't know, and now the amount that I don't know is less than it was before, but still there's many things to learn, of course.
Oh yeah.
So I spent 3 years at Free Radical Design. We made a game called Haze, and if you played that, I apologize. It's not the finest.
He always says this. I don't know. I never played this game. Maybe you guys have heard about it. Haze. But I cannot imagine it being this bad. I think because I think it went out being like a 6 out of 10 sort of an average. That were the scores of the game.
I think like a 5 out of 10, yeah, but
5 out of 10.
Like
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so we released Haze, and then shortly after that there was an opportunity at Rockstar North. So I applied there, and beginning of 2009, I started as an audio programmer at Rockstar North, and over the next 6 years, I was working on GTA 5, a bit of Red Dead Redemption 2, Max Payne 3. We released, and then after GTA 5, it'd been out for a couple of years. We released the PC version, and it was time for me to spread my wings, try something new. And so I was looking around to see what was available, and there were a few cool opportunities, but the one that caught my eye was there was a recruiter, and he told me, okay, I really like RPG games. Like, I've always loved RPG games. I remember back to when I was a wee lad and playing even on the Mega Drive, a game called Soleil, which was super cool for me at the time. And then Final Fantasy VII has been a big influence on me. Neverwinter Nights, all of these. Throughout my life, I've enjoyed playing them. But I'd never had the chance to work on them. Right, first I was working on a first-person shooter, and then on
that's
GTA.
Understandable. By the way, Cole, sorry I interrupt, but I just wanted to read one comment from Machiavelli. Machiavelli is a long-standing viewer in here on my channel, and Machiavelli says, "Dude is worked on one of the best games ever made." Anyway, just the comment. By the way, guys, I see a lot of you saying hello in the chat. Hello. So my guest is Colin Walder, our engineering director, composer, producer, audio programmer, and we are talking right now about Cole's past and what brought him to game dev. And Cole was right now at his point when he was describing us his story in Rockstar before he started looking around. So, going back to your story, Cole, where are we now?
I just see here Camille Cesaro wants to see my guitar behind. So
oh yeah,
grab
guitar.
Grab my guitar. So this is my guitar. I should say I'm not like a particularly good guitarist, but I do have a guitar that I can. I'm not sure it's in tune.
It's there. It's there.
It's there.
It does emit sounds. It does emit sounds
sounds,
from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Johnny Braun's hand.
Johnny Braun's, yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. Okay, Cole. So going back to your story, you mentioned last thing was that there was this moment when you have got the... Oh, God. Cogito, thank you so much for all the subs in the chat. Holy fuck. That's some insanity, my friend.
Wow.
Cogito,
Awesome.
You're insane. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate it. And my chums, whoever, people that got the subs, like Chivok, from what I'm seeing, Arasaka apart. Some of you are really long-standing viewers. Just guys, use those emotes. I hope you will enjoy them. Thank you, Cogito. Let's go back to you, Cole. So you said you started looking around, and there was this interviewer, you said, or HR person. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a recruiter who found a few places to look at, and one of the ones they presented was CD Projekt RED, and this was 2015, so it was before the launch of Witcher 3, and I didn't know much about the company at this point. I hadn't played the previous games. I've never been to Poland.
That's surprising. That's like the most surprising of all of them.
Right. So,
okay, sure.
but it was okay. This is an RPG studio. I knew it was like up and coming and breaking that. It's like, okay, I am ready for adventure. I'm ready to try something fresh and new. So got in contact with CD Projekt. We had some video calls, some interviews to chat, and I was like, yeah, this feels good, right? There's something about it that feels like this is the step that I should take. And back then there weren't any audio programmers at CD Projekt, so I would be the first dedicated audio programmer. I think even there wasn't a position open for it at the time, but the recruit was like, I think these guys will find you interesting and you'll find them interesting. And this is basically what happened. It was like, okay, this it wasn't planned, but it looks like a cool match. And so I got in a van with my friend, and we put all of my stuff in his van, and we drove from Edinburgh down to where was it? I think it was down to Newcastle. Got on the ferry. Drove through Holland.
Oh, wow, you have used the ferry? I had no idea.
Yeah,
okay, wow, that's like some old school.
Right? Because this was the best way to bring my stuff over. So we came over through Germany. We exploded a tire outside of Berlin because my stuff was too heavy, right? And it had pushed the van down onto his tire. So we got stuck on the highway, on the autobahn. And we had to like glue this tire back together, and the road assistants that came, they were like, okay, you can put this glue on the tire. The spare tire was messed up, so we couldn't use that one. He said we could put it on the tire, but just don't drive like above 40 miles an hour on it because it will go. But we're like still far from Poland at this point, so we were like, okay, we'll push it a bit. So we got into Poland around like midnight. We should have been like way earlier. Into Poland, straight to Praga, where my flat that I was staying at the beginning was going to be. So first time into Poland, just came with all my stuff into old Praga, found the flat, and that was it. I had no idea what to expect, but I took the dive, went in, and here I am 7.5 years later, no regrets.
No regrets, you say? That sounds great.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, Prague, that Cole is referring to, it's district of Poland. By the way, for those who don't know, or maybe are not Polish, which is most of you are not. I mean, some of you are not. So just wanted to mention. Wow, okay, Cole. So that's been like 7.5 years. So what you've been working on first, that was like Witcher 3, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So I joined. I think it might have even been like literally the day of the release of Witcher 3. I was on the party. Actually, I managed to make my way into the release party in the Fortezza over there. So this is where I started to meet people for the first time. So the first things I worked on was, of course, Hearts of Stone and then Blood of Wine, and started to add some extra audio features, right? Because we had now like a little bit more capacity to do something. We could put a little bit more focus on that. We were able to add some really cool stuff into the expansions there. Stuff that's still to this day I'm like pretty proud that we managed to got in. Some stuff we like snuck in a little bit under the hood. The combat.
We like doing stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
I know. Like one of the things, if I recall correctly, is the audio syncing to the boss fight with Detlef. Am I correct here?
Yeah.
That you've been working on.
Also the Cyclops as well. So we have these two bosses that we were introduced this feature to. It's the sort of thing, of course, that I've been wanting to do ever since my thesis from my master's that I mentioned earlier, and that was to have the game react to the music, right? Because I think that the music itself has like a dramatic contour. It has itself some emotion, and of course we want to fit that to what's happening in the game. But my like kind of idea, my thought is that this can happen both ways, and if we have this kind of interplay, then we can have some things happen in the game that will tie into appropriate moments in the music, and that will bring out like an extra level of like cinematic quality, of emotion, of coolness, of like just some feeling of okay, we have a really epic moment. So we were testing on we did some tests actually on the caretaker boss from Hearts of Stone. This didn't make it into the game, but we were using this one as a kind of
test case.
It was
basically
a test case. It was a boss
field,
that had it had like quite complex attack patterns, a few different things that we could play with to sync, and we managed to like, let's say, prove the concept with this one. And of course, the time frame in here was really fast, right? Because it was the episode, so we had 1 year basically to do two expansions.
It was crazy fucking time, right? Like Jesus, from release of Witcher 3, then both of those expansions was like madness. So it was crazy time.
Yeah, it also really cool because like all of the tools were there. Okay, from the base game, the whole team knew how to make the game. A lot of those questions answered. It was like, okay, now unleash ourselves into it. Now we know how to do it. We can start to go further and start to push the bar in these places. So with I think we started with the Cyclops Gigant at the beginning of the Blood and Wine quest, and then also with Detlef, because these two bosses had like these very distinctive attack patterns that we could tie in and have them matched a little bit to the music. It was important like to not be cartoony with it.
Sorry, Cole, to interrupt, because there's like ton of stuff going on, and we can like
let's go to the chat.
intertwine it with. So first of all, Tyler McVicker is raiding with a party of like 160 people. Good to see you, Tyler. Tyler wrote, listen to it, Cole. Tyler wrote, I want to play Phantom Liberty early. Anyway, Tyler.
Very, very simple way to do this, right? All you have to do is
apply to
become
job.
a game dev. Get hired by CD Projekt, and then...
Exactly. Are there any slots for audio programmers available? Probably.
Well, you know, I'm always happy to take a talented or passionate audio programmer onto the team. So if that's your jam, then...
Tyler wrote, that sounds easy. I will get your job tomorrow. That is the fucking approach. I don't know how much you know, Cole, about Tyler, but he's the guy that is like crazy about modding. He played like Cyberpunk in so many different variants. He created this like gigantic mod list for Cyberpunk. So and he is a very awesome dude outside of that. So
well, as you know, Pavel, we have actually quite a few people on the team who come from this background, right? We have a lot of people who started in the modding scene.
They were YouTubers. I'm joking.
Who were modders? No, modders.
Yeah, I know.
Tyler wrote, I actually live in Night City. It's totally true. Yep, exactly. Okay then, thank you so much, Tyler, for showing up here. We are basically like to all the viewers of Tyler, thank you guys for coming over. We are talking to Colin Walder, our engineering director from CD Projekt. Colin has been a programmer, audio programmer for all his life, worked before in Rockstar and a bunch of biggest games in the world. And then since Witcher 3 works in CD Projekt in one of the bigger games in the world, I would say, and does things right now for Phantom Liberty, for Polaris, and a bunch other things. Now, I wanted to read you one comment, Colin, interesting one from Machiavelli. Can you ask Colin why this team Don't Play and Don't Fear the Reaper ending? A lot of people agree that it would be more better fitting than instead of the rebel path. I believe those decisions were made by Marcin Przybyłowicz, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm afraid I do not know the answer to this question. We need to talk with either with Marcin or with PT.
But hold your question, Machiavelli. Will just ask Marcin with the next occasion, why not? Because I think the question is very cool. I honestly have no idea. Normally the way it is it's our composers who are actually making all the calls, and they are making all the decisions in regards of what is actually playing. We can of course feedback them and stuff, and we do that, but they're always making the last call. Calls. What Colin is working on is more of the programming side of things, so making things happen. So jumping from that topic, I remember one of the more ambitious, I think, things we did, in this case in Cyberpunk, developing further the tech that you mentioned, was syncing actually the concert. Like a Supreme, that was like a mad task.
Tough.
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah. So can you tell us more about this actually?
So this was actually built on that technology that we developed for Witcher 3, right? This AI synced to the music technology. So we re-implemented this actually on the Cyberpunk engine in order to be able to synchronize this. And the tricky thing, especially with if we think about this one compared to, there's a few moments in Cyberpunk where we're synchronizing things to the to the music, but with this one we had multiple instruments happening, and in this first-person perspective, where even you yourself have this instrument, so it's super close. This has to be really tight on, and also we wanted the sounds to be coming from the correct places on
from the correct
stage.
Sources, right? If you have 7.1 setup or something, when we actually can hear it, right? Because if you play it on a laundry machine, you probably won't hear the difference. But if you have actually proper audio setup, we wanted to make sure you can distinct that, right?
Yeah, you want to feel like you're inside of this concert, right? This is the feeling that we're going for, especially with this first person perspective. Generally, was this feeling of immersion to really put you in there. So it was really important for us to have this. And so actually, we have two different technologies that we're using to do this. In this case, we have the sync to the music. So we have the animations which are perfectly timed with this, and then also we're using a technology we call the broadcast emitter, which lets us take some sounds and then split them out and have them played in different positions in the world. And we use this loads of places in the game. It's for the radio, we used it for the acoustics, we used it for people talking on a phone that's then coming out of a TV and the brain dance, loads of stuff. It was super useful bit of tech that we developed, and that let us then take these sounds, synchronize them, and then position them in different places, which would have just been really hard for us to do, or even impossible for us to do if we were actually just playing the separate sounds, right? Because everything had to be perfectly in time in this concert.
Yeah, that's true. I remember we were, because it took us few iterations, right, before we got to that point, because like a Supreme, it's a quest I designed and implemented, and cinematic designer is Michał Brzeźniak, right? So I think it was mostly Michał, the animator, David Cordero, right? So it was David Cordero, Michał, and me working together with you guys to really try to make it happen. And there was a bunch of issues we had with before we actually make it really work. And the thing is, you guys never saw the version without music being synced, but it you could feel it. You could really feel it. When you were playing and you were actually listening to what is happening, you could really see, okay, that there is micro-dessing, It's not big, but it's enough for you to realize that there's something wrong there. So there was like a quite significant amount of work to make this like sort of a 1% better that make it suddenly everything, click, right? And just become, become basically what we like. So, guys, before we move on, because we have so many more topics, but if you have any questions to Colin, just throw them on the chat. I will basically keep on asking him. I keep seeing, from time to time questions, so I can jump to the next one. DJ GNU, Colin is asking, what DAWs are you guys using for the music? How is the ratio between hardware versus VST? I have no fucking idea what this question is. Do you get it, Cole? Because like
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So just to expand this, DAW, This is Digital Audio Workstation. So this is the software that we use either for designing sound effects or for music in the game. You may have heard of like Pro Tools is a famous one. So the composers, CD Projekt, and myself in my personal work use Logic, which is Apple's DAW that they develop, or I think they bought it some time ago from some other company, and now they develop it and take it further. And for sound effects, we use Reaper. The sound design is done by Reaper, which is a very flexible digital audio workstation. Very commonly used throughout the game industry because it's quite extensible. You can, as a programmer, you can come in, you can add a lot of features to it to extend its ability, do batch processing. Very handy for this. So yeah, these are the two DAWs that we use and that I use myself as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the VSTs, because there's the second part of the question, which is hardware versus VSTs. So VSTs, these are virtual instruments, plugins, effects that you use inside of the digital audio workstation. I think we use a lot of those, but and certainly I use a lot of those, mostly those. I don't have that much hardware, but if we think about Cyberpunk, there's a ton of hardware synths that were sampled, that were recorded, that were used for doing this. Especially, I know the composers wanted to have this kind of like grittier feeling of synthesized music. So, of course, it wants to be synths. It has this futuristic feel, but Cyberpunk as a genre is kind of like a little bit grimy, right? It's like not
it's imperfect,
working.
Right? Like we talked about it even like when designing the story in the world, that the like technology in Cyberpunk is imperfect. That's why you have fucking cables, and big bulky phones instead of like slick, touch screens, and stuff like that. So you wanted to have it in the music as well.
Yeah, exactly. So if you walk inside one of the composers' rooms, you'll see just a ton of like really old, weird, eccentric synths that maybe they don't have the greatest usability, plugged in through a bunch of pedals, some odd types of synths that make like bits of wires sticking out here to create all of these like analog sounds, and then we put these in, and then we can have this synthesized but analog, slightly like twisted or grimy, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of grit to that sound, which gives it that kind of more unique flavor, right? That specific Cyberpunk 2077 flavor to the music.
Mm-hmm. Pinky Julian wrote, Cyberpunk music is so good, you can feel it, all the grains. As you mentioned, the bass can be so dirty, crunchy, it tingles the brain so good.
Fantastic. I'm glad you have this experience from it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
exactly what we want.
Yeah, like I remember like when you walk into the room of like Marcin Przybyłowicz or Piotr Gadamczyk in the company, right? You can see them having like all of those fucking weird machines somewhere there, like weird drones and like things that just look slightly they don't really resemble instruments at all. They just look like pieces of like electronics ripped off from a fridge. That's literally what I'm thinking that when I'm seeing this kind of device, and based on that, they are able to produce some excellent music. Let's jump to another question because there's a bazillion for them. Revolver Ocelota. First of all, Revolver, thank you so much for being with us. Revolver is also a long-standing viewer of the chat. He's known for having fantastic questions. So let's see what he says.
How does Colin feel for waiting for GTA 6 as a former Rockstar employee? How would you describe the ambition of this studio? For me, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the best open world in the history of video games.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy this. I wasn't there, of course, for the end of Red Dead, but I spent a couple of years working on this and a little time in San Diego as well with the team there that was leading the work on it. How do I feel waiting for GTA 6? I'll be honest, it's not something that I think about that often. I'm pretty focused on the stuff that we're doing, and we're trying to keep us busy. And I think it's cool that they take the time that they need, that they want to, in order to do that. The studio is super ambitious, always has been. One of the things that, I would say that attracted me there, but it's like, you don't need me to say it to know that this is a studio.
It's amazing, exactly, about the Rockstar, right? Like, they're just fucking, you can feel that they're like really pushing, right? Like, I can imagine this being very seductive for them who's striving for perfection.
The people there are super skilled, super talented. They've got a really fantastic team. Some really cool guys there, especially the audio team who I was working with when I was there. Big shout out to them, because they've got mad skills and always put in 100% effort, maximum effort to make it make the game as good as possible.
Yeah. Follow-up question from Revolver. Maybe you will have an example, actually. Colin, what's your favorite song from Red Dead Redemption 2? Do you have anything that comes to your mind? Do you remember anything?
I don't remember the specific song names. I really like the approach that was taken on both Red Deads, actually, with the layering of music. It was something that's not often done this way in order to make the interactive music, of having these, I think it was like 9 layers of music that can be mixed in different ways in order to like represent different moments of the game. From Red Dead 1, I remember there was this moment that's like I don't know, maybe it's like super basic choice, but this Jose Gonzalez track as you're heading into Mexico, I really like this because, again, I love this. I love it when we can bring in some like cinematic aesthetics into the gameplay, and I think this was handled really well in terms of. And I didn't work on this game on Red Dead 1, by the way. I was sat next to the people who were doing it, and it happened really organically. There was the mission that you have to go down to Mexico and you cross the river, and this Jose Gonzalez track comes in, and it really did have this cinematic feeling for me. I think it was handled super well. It was a really good choice of both of the music and of how to implement it.
Bartek Pirko commented, "Oh my god, one of the best moments in the game." Yeah, I have to admit, like, I really liked the Red Dead 1, but I don't remember much from it, but I didn't manage to finish Red Dead 2, unfortunately. So I cannot help with my own knowledge here. But switching more to your own position right now, Colin, what you're actually doing specifically. Question from Science Fiction Person. What does job of engineering director entail?
So, a lot of meetings. That's one thing, and of course, so as an engineering director, I have, let's say, purview over 2 specific aspects of our tech team. The audio, which has always been a big focus of mine, so I'm still involved in this, providing some vision, bringing my experience. But the audio code team now is super skilled, really experienced after Cyberpunk. They don't need so much from me day to day, like saying this is how you do this. They really have a handle on things. So I mostly act with them as something like we call a product owner, which is to help decide what features are more important, or to provide some longer term vision of some strategic approaches there. And the second part is the management. So in this aspect, my job is to build the team, to help build the best teams that we can have, to hire people, recruit people. I'm involved in all of the recruitments in our engineering department, to build a good culture and to work with the other engineering
really
directors.
Important.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think one of the most important things if you want to have like a healthy culture, healthy teams, effective teams. This is like the secret sauce, right? In order to be able to achieve great stuff. And then working with the other engineering directors to take like a long-term vision and try and create some strategy, some structure, and then also again work to build this culture to create ownership within our teams to actually like build those teams where they can do lots of things by themselves, where they can grow and become stronger and make great games.
Yeah, and it may sound, because like I think like from day to day it just goes down to like lots of different tasks, really like there's so many different people I would say require a bit different approach, I would say, in the teams, right? When you're like building a team of designers, in my case engineers, in case of Colin, like a lot of cases it just requires you to take a different approach to make sure that you are treating that person properly. You're helping this person out in the way they need the help with. And really, like, there's very little situations when there is like the one solution fits all kind of a case. Like, often you just need to adapt, as a manager to that employee and make sure that person has the best possible spot in the team. It's a lot of like smaller, I would say, actions throughout the day and year of training, mentoring, and so on. Interesting follow-up question to that. Maybe we can continue actually talking about this. N. Remind asks, do you think building the culture is possible with remote work?
Yeah, that's a super interesting question. It's something I think that we're still only at the beginning of because it's like fairly recently that as a world we shifted towards this. I know there was some remote work before, but now it's common, and we have two options actually. At CD Projekt, you can either choose office first, where you're spending most of your time in the studio, and then with the option to work a little bit remotely, or you can work remote first, where you're mostly working remote, and then you have the option to come into the studio sometimes. I think it's harder, right? I think it takes more effort, and it requires like specific, directed, thoughtful, mindful effort towards doing that. It requires having lots of conversations with people. Also, we have teams that support us, the IC, the culture team, organizing events for the whole company to bring people together.
Yeah.
There are things that you miss, right? When you're not in the studio, when you're not just walking past people in the corridor or in a room with people all the time, there's a lot of things that naturally happen. There's tiny little interactions.
Yeah, something that managers call the water cooler conversations, right? Like you may have seen it. I'm more talking to the viewers now because I know you know it. Something that is called the water cooler conversations, like those situations when you just basically meet like another like-minded people, and you're able to exchange ideas and just like mention things that you're working on and so on. And because of those like hundreds of interactions and so on you have throughout your week or so with people, that culture is festered, created, sustained in a way. And as you said, remotely, you need to have this conscious effort to sort of keep that going and happening. And there's like so many very interesting topics actually really regarding this. You can continue, Cole, if you want to add anything to that. I have my own one point I wanted to make, but I interrupted you, sorry. Maybe you want to jump in regarding the culture, festering the culture.
Yeah, I think just to say, I think we're at the beginning of this process, both for ourselves and as an industry. I think there is some opportunity there, right? Because if we look at, I don't know, games like World of Warcraft or other virtual environments where people form teams and groups and do stuff together and do build some culture and some values within those, or even like what we're doing now, right? We have some things, interaction remotely. There are ways to do it, but we need to work out how we implement that in our day-to-day life. And yeah, it'll be a big thing for all of us going forward to innovate and try new approaches and work out some ways to develop that.
Yeah, like just maybe a pointed, and then we're moving on because there's more questions specifically about the games, so that we can focus on that. But
One of the things that I actually heard from many different like bigger studios working remotely, because we're all trying to figure it out as an industry, is to is to sometimes, to simulate the water cooler conversations, is to have meetings about nothing. And basically it's like you meet, you have a meeting in the calendar, you just have a meeting and there's just no agenda and there's no plan. That's basically it, you just have a meeting about nothing. And actually during meetings about nothing, like so many inspiring conversations happen because like suddenly you don't have a plan or an issue that you're trying to solve. You are just meeting to like sort of share energy and exchange ideas. And suddenly, there are things that come to your mind. Oh, you know what? I wanted to talk to you about this or that. Oh yeah, I had this thing in my mind, and suddenly you have naturally those things coming in. Of course, because of how tight the production schedule is and everything, it's not really possible to spend, lots of time on the meetings for nothing. But I'm just saying, that you can like sort of simulate the water cooler conversations using meetings about nothing, when you're thinking about working remotely. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the questions about the game because there's many more of them. From Giapollo, Colin, how do you work with our quest director here? Mm-hmm. Are quests completed before audio is added, or is it progressive work depending on where the quest is?
How do I work with Pavel? On the dance floor, dancing salsa. That's how. No, well, actually, yes, there's also, but
yes.
I think it generally happens progressively. Usually, the quests are coming first. So the ideas for the quest, what's happening is going to be there. The quest designers will come up with, okay, here's the story, here's the idea for the quest, and start to implement this. And then there'll be spotting sessions with the audio designers, with the composers to show, okay, here's what I want with the quest, and the composer will, okay, here we have something. Maybe sometimes the quest designers will have some specific requests, like some needs, or like, okay, I really want this track here. I really want to have something like this track here to create this mood here, and then we will try and work out from our side, okay, can we get this track? Can we put this track, or can we do something that will bring that same emotion? So there's a continuous iteration. And I think the earlier actually we can involve the audio there with the quest, the better, in order to, because the audio brings emotions and feeling to that and the atmosphere. And so if you're going through the quest without it, you have to kind of like imagine that and supplement it. But as you start to put it in, then you can feel like, okay, this is working, this isn't working. Okay, here maybe audio will do all of the lifting, and we don't need something else. Or in this other place, the audio by itself isn't enough. We need something else going on, or some different audio.
Yeah, there's always this like magical point during the production of the games, all the games that they've seen. There's this moment when the voiceover is added, like basically all the sessions are recorded and so on. The voiceover is added, and then the music. Voiceover and music, and by music I mean all the audio. So like also like ambience, sound effects, and so on, all of that. But music specifically, music is the biggest, I would say, contributor. When those two, so like voiceover and music, actually land in the game, suddenly you start seeing, looking at the scenes that you had in mind, and they suddenly start to work. It's like it's sort of like a magical moment. That kind of breakthrough moment when suddenly everything comes together, and before it's kind of feeling like dry, and it feels like it's missing something, but you don't really know what, if you're of course not experienced with the process and you know where you're going. And then suddenly, where the music is there, you're like, oh yeah, okay, everything starts to work. And sometimes, if there's something wrong on that layer, on the VO performance layer, or on the, how the music is basically picked, then you will feel it too. You will feel like, okay, yeah, maybe something's wrong here. We need to talk. We need to, like maybe something should be changed and so on to just like make it work better. But like audio brings so much. Audio brings so much to like the feeling of the game in general.
Exactly.
Okay, science fiction person, actually. How do you feel about Cyberpunk winning Labor of Love award during the Steam Awards?
A question from Science Fiction Person, yeah.
So this is an award that's voted for by the players, and so it has like extra weight for us to win an award like this, right? It means a lot. Always it's nice when you get an award. Always it's nice when someone plays your game and plays and says, yes, this is cool. This is something good here. But especially when it's coming from the players, which is we're always trying to provide like a good experience, to provide good value for the game. So that they recognised the extra effort that we've put in, for all of the work that we've put in since the launch of Cyberpunk, that they feel that we've like managed to realise something with Cyberpunk. And I think we felt it a lot as well around the release of Edgerunners, the sentiment that we saw coming from the internet. It's great, you know. It's exactly what you love to have happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels amazing. Honestly, like I think this is probably the best award. I would say the best thing that could have happened. Completely honestly, because like I think like maybe even some other like Game of the Year from some some magazine. I wouldn't feel the same than with the Labor of Love, because that is the award that like a lot of players had to vote, and there were other games on that list. There were other big titles there as well. So that meant that more actually voted for Cyberpunk than other titles, and it doesn't mean that other games didn't do enough. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like it means that the Cyberpunk community felt that it's right, to vote for this award, and I'm really, really thankful for it. I think it's much more important, this one, than any other, really. And like regaining slowly that trust is incredibly important, rewarding for us. Let's move to another one. There's ton of questions for us. Ibex Strike asks, Pavel and Colin, there's so many recommendations for remote work, but one of the best things I've seen for it, my own company, is to keep chats out of DMs and in public threads as much as possible. Does CDBR have such a process, such a thought process? Oh, mm-hmm. I think it's kind of like about keeping this like Slack channels open, for instance. That's one of the examples.
Mm-hmm. I think both things are necessary. Having some either private DMs or also private channels, and then also public channels, depending on what's talking. Sometimes if everything's in the public channel, it just becomes like too much to keep up with, and things can get lost. And it's good to break this off and have a separate conversation going on about that. But at the same time, you want to have these public channels where everyone can step in and join in, see what's going on, build like some connection, some visibility, which is one of the things that you can lose with the remote work that previously you had, when you were having those water cooler moments, when you were just bumping into people or just looking over someone's shoulder as you're walking past, and bringing that. So I think you like both have a place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I feel the same. Not much that I could add to this one. There's many more questions. I'm just skimming through them because like we have a few more things that we wanted to show you and talk to you about with Colin, but don't want to cut anyone out from your awesome questions. So let me really quickly check if there's anything. If there's anything important. Elusi Art commented, just chatting category, remote work edition. Exactly. That is exactly what I'm thinking. Okay. Creep Slasher. Hey, Pavel. Hey, guys. Just popping up to say have a great stream. Can attend today because of finals tomorrow, but I will see to catch the stream on YouTube later. And no problem, my friend. Thank you so much for popping up here to the stream. Oh, God. I'm just checking, trying to check which is the question and which is the conversation. Just a question for Mr. Sasko, okay? But who is responsible for the story of a quest initially? Is the writers or quest designers? Navarro, this is something I've been talking about on the streams probably for like a year and a half now. Normally it works like this, that the story writer is in like coming up with and when it comes to main story, coming up with a story outline. And out of that outline, the quest design is created by quest designer, and then basically we work in loops. And together with those two, you normally have also cinematic designers. So those three people are like bouncing in the triangle constantly, the ideas and the design. And it all starts from the writer's like initial idea, then goes to quest designer when the quest is built, and then cinematic designer is responsible for presentation, so for the scenes, the direction, behavior of the characters, all that stuff. That applies to main story and some of the side quests. Other side quests and other side content is completely coming from the quest designers or open world designers, depending of which part we are talking about. So it really depends. So it often, the beginning is the writer or quest designer or open world designer. And then, we work in this small group at first, at least to generate that story, make sure it all works together. But then again, everyone really who's in the team is able to contribute, like no matter who they are and what department they are. We have like audio designers, we have the VFX artists, we have enviro artists, and animators and, prop artists really contributing, asking questions, QA, obviously, contributing, asking questions, how the story is, what they could change and so on. So that's...
Just a shout out to Navarro935 there, because Navarro was with me earlier today playing Witcher, so great to see you here again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Navarro. Thank you so much, Navarro. Okay, then, I'm just checking others. Hermit, does Colin work primarily on the music or the voice actor or acting audio as well?
So, because I work on the audio code, so I'm involved with the technical side, technical implementation of basically all of that. On Cyberpunk, I touched all of the areas, so the sound effects, the music, the voice acting. Slight little bit of trivia. Okay, so I did also do a small amount of voice acting for Cyberpunk. You can hear me in some of the adverts around the city, some of the announcements.
Which advert did you do? Like, I didn't recognize your voice. Holy hell!
Yeah, there's a bunch. Something like AV parking is free. This kind of stuff.
I mean, it's better than what I did. So yeah.
So we have some of that, and I did do a little bit of music as well for the adverts that I managed to sneak in. Okay. For some of those things, so you can catch this around some of those districts. Some jingles.
Sounds cool. Kruszwitz, Basia asks, Colin, I noticed that in 1.5, the sound of Johnny Silverhand appearing was changed. Do you know why?
I do not.
I have no idea. I frankly, Basia, I didn't realize that it changed.
No.
Holy shit. No, really, I don't know. The Apollo asks, has all the audio voice work for Phantom Liberty has been finished by now? Well, that is the topic we can't talk about, my friend. I'm sorry. This would be giving up too much regarding the stage where we are. So no, my friend, we can't talk about it with Cole, unfortunately. Enola said, I can't wait for more labors of love. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
An interesting question there, actually, about the Bring Dance audio. I can't read the name, sorry, on the screen. Who came up with the... Is it AMS?
Sure, maybe I'm not seeing that question, but just please go on.
Just at the top of the screen here. There we go. Who came up with the idea to reverse the Brain Dance audio, and how was this implemented? So this is kind of an interesting case because to do this in like some super clever way would be very tricky to build some effects to do it. So this was all done manually. We created some technology that would allow us to play different sounds depending if the brain dance was going forwards or backwards or reversing or fast forwarding, and to select these and seek into the sounds. But then the sound designers were crafting in each of these sequences the sound going in each direction. So it was done in this custom way. to give us the best effects and result there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like quite early, actually, like I remember sound designers, audio designers pointing out that they really want to do that rewind for the braindance to make sure that it actually feels properly in the game. I wanted to welcome our dear Sphere Hunter. So Susie is here with us. Thank you so much, Susie, for
Susie.
being here. It's really nice that you are watching. Victor von Tornetz said, "Hi, I love music in Cyberpunk. How it looks like to make radio in the game. Was there an idea to listen to radio when walking on foot?" The last one I can answer, but maybe you can start with a call regarding how is it to just work on the radio in general, because the whole radio tech, that was of course work of you and your department.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed the music. How's it to make the radio in game? So technically we use this technology, I mentioned it a bit earlier, called broadcast emitters, which let us play songs without any position. So we could effectively have the radio stations playing but not coming out of anywhere, and then we would be able to make a setup using InWise. We created some plugins in InWise, which is our audio middleware, that would let us play sounds at various locations, and then it would take the audio that's being played on this station. So it worked very much like an actual radio system in real life, except we kind of simulate this in the software in order to do this, and then the composers would deliver to us the tracks. They were working with the company in America, and also people were finding that some own bands to find some specific needs for the game, like the Uzcracks. We would form these into lists of those tracks, and we create some technology that would play through these and keep playing them. So for example, we wanted to have this experience like the music, the radio music. For me, this is the music that, of course, the players listen to, but also we imagine that the NPCs are listening to. So if you play one station and then go away and come back, it should have progressed. Like,
yes.
as if it's like a real radio station in the game. And with the choice of tracks, the idea is that's telling us something about the kinds of people that we have in Night City, because people in Night City like to listen to this music. So of course it's for the player, but also we should think about how
it's part of the world building, right? Like we always treat it like this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like one of the principles that was driving the design of those radio stations, right? Like when we were thinking exactly about what kind of music people listen to, what are the brands, the genres, what are the creators basically in that world, and so on. Okay, there's many more questions in the chat, but there's one. Uranium Bullet asks, you listen to all 7,000 plus songs from the fans for the contest yet? So I'm not sure if Cole knows. I do. We are working on that topic. I cannot share yet anything more. I think we have officially said that by the end of January, you will have the answer for the fan contest. I suspect everything's on track. Otherwise, you would probably know that it's not. But I cannot add anything more. Then, in regards on the official process, well, obviously, right? All the tracks have been listened to, so that's been an interesting adventure. I talked to the team that is working on it behind the whole thing, and it's an interesting endeavor. You know, you guys sent, because I think there was like, I don't know, Cole, if you saw it, 7,800 plus compositions that were sent. Did you send yours? You should. Colin, did you send
me?
No, yeah.
No.
Oh, I think
no,
because
no.
I think as an employees we couldn't, right?
Yeah, we couldn't.
Holy
And I already had some opportunities to sneak a little bit, as I said, a little bit of my stuff in there. So yeah, this wouldn't be wouldn't be totally fair.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, my dears, I think we will switch now because I wanted to play you something. So let me actually mute for now the our Cyberpunk music. So we are going to right now show you something. So Colin is actually, since a year and a half now, doing something called the Everyday. And maybe you can tell us more about it. I wanted to switch now to
this view where you can actually see this is a Colin's YouTube channel. Here you go. You can subscribe if you want to at Colin Walder. And there is something, as you can see, called Everyday. So Cole, tell us more about it, why I'm actually playing some of them. Let me maybe start from this one, because why not?
Okay, so the Everyday project, this is something that I started 433 days ago. Well, today will be 434, I think. The idea came from an artist called Beeple, who for the last 15 years this has been posting every day some digital art. And ever since I left my music technology degree, I was always thinking, okay, I would like to get back and do some more music as well as the coding. And I tried a few times, and I would start and I would like make something and not finish it, and then put it aside, and then a few years later come back and like, okay, now's the time. I will do it. And this happened several times over the past the past 15 years or so. And then finally, year before last, I saw this and I was like, okay, the Everyday thing, I will try and do this, and I will start to write music. And I didn't even have an idea of I will do it for some length of time, for some period. It was just like I will do this to write music because I'm not writing as much music as I would like to do. And then it just kept going, and I was doing that for now 430 days. So every day I write some music and I post it online to my SoundCloud, always to the SoundCloud, most often to the YouTube. It depends a little bit if I can make a video in time for the to be able to release it every day, because it takes a little bit extra to do that. And so if it's very late, then or if the music's just not very good, sometimes I won't put it on my YouTube.
And it's like, as I think it was Cybervesna, the level of consistency is impressive. Sorry, Cole, because I sort of jumped the gun and already started playing the trailer. So maybe you want to tell us more about this one, because this is your composer showreel.
Yeah, so this is like the interesting thing that what I found is that having that consistency, building that habit, delivering music, I was able to learn a lot, and I was able to grow a lot. Of course, there's still much more for me to learn. I look at composers like March and like PT at work, and they're decades ahead of me. But I was able to grow as a composer as part of that and be able to deliver. And then this trailer that we have here, this is the first professional freelance composing work that I did. So last year I had my first freelance job as a composer, and I think a lot of this comes from doing those every days, which helped me develop my skills and that ability to make something, to deliver it, to put it out. The project went super well for this game Corborn, which is being developed by Blank Hands, a German company. It's based on a pen and paper RPG called Ultracore, and so I'm really looking forward to that game coming out. I'm still talking with those guys, but for me, a big moment to come out of that and be able to take that first step. You know, this is the first step. I was able to make something, write some music. The guys were happy with it. It's out there. You can get on my channel on IGN. And now we're in 2023, and I feel energized and ready to make more music.
Exactly. And I wanted to say, like, for all of you, actually, you know, if you're like actually wondering, you know, how to keep consistency and so on, projects such as the one that Cole just talked about, it's actually amazing. You know, it's actually an amazing thing to start learning and start doing when you have this like goal to do a small amount of work, you know, because those compositions are like what, between like 30 seconds to a minute, right?
Yeah. Most of them are around a minute. Recently, I was able to start stretching it out to a minute and a half as I go better. But exactly, this is the point, right? The main thing here, if you go back and listen to my first ones, which aren't on YouTube, they're only on SoundCloud. They're not that great, you know. They're okay. Even the latest ones aren't like super polished, super finished. But the point was, every day, do it, start it, finish it, iterate. every day you're learning something more, you're getting it done, and just build that habit of, okay, yeah, I can sit down and now I can sit down and have the confidence of, even if I don't have any ideas in my head, I know I can write some music, right? I have a lot of things behind me now, 430 odd days, that tell me that whatever's happening, and I have a remote setup, so when I'm on holiday or on a business trip, when we were at Unreal Fest, when we were at GDC, when I was in Indonesia or Japan or in an airport, still I can do it. So I can have a lot of confidence now that I may not be able to write like the best music in the world. For sure I can't write the best music in the world, but I can write something, and I can do it time and time again. And being able to come back to it each time, try and get a little better, try and learn something new, try and explore some little direction. That's just the way to growth, like incrementally, bit by bit, not having that expectation, which I used to have. I used to have this idea of like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write a fucking symphony, it's going to be the best thing ever, and then I would try it, and I would not do it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, very important point. Like, when you're trying to improve, it's enough to improve just a bit every day, you know? You don't have to, like, from day to day, like, create something incredible. Just make a small thing, just a very tiny thing, but be consistent, you know? Just be consistent with that. And there is also, like, because you touched, Cole, like, partially when you were speaking about it, something that, because, you know, I'm a development psychologist, like, I love this topic, like, so much, and this is really interesting for me. So I just wanted to add something. Like, there is a theory that I was telling you guys about, a theory of infrastructure. And the theory of infrastructure says, or a strategy of infrastructure, is that you can actually create your life in a way that making those incremental changes is actually really easy and simple. And like what Cole was talking about is exactly this. He has developed a way to do that every day, because he has his remote way of even doing that. So that eliminates this obstacle of like, oh yeah, I'm in a trip today, or I'm on a plane, I can't do that, and so on. There's so many ways. I remember a year ago when we were in GDC together, and Colin, together with our other engineering director, they were actually sitting down, and Cole was actually showing, you know, his compositions, the way he composes to that guy, to Piotr Tomsiński, our dear engineering director, amazing guy. They were sitting together and talking, and Cole was able to show him. This is a part and a use and execution of the infrastructure theory, is that I create and structure my life in a way that making the work I want to do is incredibly easy and simple. It's like much easier. Like, you sometimes have this, like, on like fitness channels and stuff, you know, when people say, yeah, you just basically, when you want to go to the gym, you just put your shoes and your like fresh clothes, you know, every day in a bag next to the door. So like every single time when you want to actually, you know, go to the gym, it's like almost effortless to sort of jump in and just pick up that bag and just leave, you know, and this is the elements of the infrastructure theory.
Exactly. And I started doing this now as well, actually, I have the clothes next to my bed, so in the morning I wake up and it's like, okay, yes, I will put on my gym shorts, I will get my skipping rope, and I will do something with it. It's very, very effective technique, for sure.
Exactly. And like, I think here also, Colin, you're also using AI to generate the pictures for the YouTube thumbnail, like, am I wrong or right here? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Like,
This is right. And for me, it's like the only real option. Before I had Midjourney, so I used Midjourney. Before that, it wasn't really possible for me to make videos every day because I'm not an artist, a graphical artist, and I need like many of them if I want to do new ones, have new ones every day. I need to be able to create quite a few. So I started using them for that, and then I have a pipeline where I can relatively quickly go from, okay, I finished my composition, and usually that's what happens. Usually I do the music first, and then after that, I will find a picture that fits this, and then I will think of a name for the track based on this. So it's kind of like a little backwards from how normally we would work. Sometimes if I have a video to work to, I'll obviously like do it the normal way, take the video and then write the music to that. But most days it's going like this, and that really like made it possible to put videos, and that's kind of important on the internet because most social media aren't really interested in audio tracks, like by themselves. There's only SoundCloud really that I know of, and you can share the SoundCloud link, but if people have to click through a link to go to another site, it's just a little bit less likely that they will do that and they will go through and actually listen to it. And while it's not the main purpose of what I'm doing, it is nice if people listen to it and give some feedback and everything. So being able to put the videos meant that I could film them on YouTube. I could get involved there. When I put it on Facebook or Instagram or other places, it's just that little bit more accessible, a little bit more easy to share it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And we went through like a few of your compositions, but I think now I wanted to jump in just after this finishes. We'll jump in now to the one of the last compositions we wanted to show you guys, and then afterwards we will actually switch to the video where Colin has, you will be able to see and we'll be able to talk about actually how that's done. So how you can actually make that, composing happen sort of, and maybe even, start yourself and start really trying to build things yourself. So I believe this one was the one, right? 431 Cole.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so this is one of the last compositions.
Yeah, it's fairly recent. I did this on Thursday night.
And then in a moment, we'll switch to, actually we'll see how the tracks look like, and how actually that kind of piece of music looks like inside.
Yes. So we had the question earlier about the DAW, the DAW. So we can take a little look at that. Well, thank you, the Hermit 84.
Hermit 84, yes.
Yes. And thank you, Sapphire, as well. Much appreciated.
Okay, so. I think now, when the track finishes, Cole, a question for you actually. What are your favorite game composers?
My favorite game composers. Well, of course, I'm contractually obliged to say Marcin Szmowicz and Yeah, I have that written. No, of course, I love these guys, but let's take it out from that for a minute. I think one of the ones who had the biggest inspiration to me is Nobuo Uematsu, so from Final Fantasy fame.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's many other composers, but he has a special place in my heart because of the Final Fantasy, because of the memories that are associated with this. I had the chance to go and see the Distance Worlds, the Final Fantasy music in London a few years ago. We went and heard it there, and beautiful music in a beautiful venue. And for sure, when I saw at the end of last year my Spotify listens, Nobuo Uematsu was on the top of here. I think I was in the top 10% of Nobuo Uematsu listeners or something. So, yeah, I would have to say him.
Sounds great. Okay, Cole. So this is basically how you are like composing, how we are putting together things. So could you narrate us to this? Like I put it basically around here as you requested. We can of course switch if you would want to, but please.
Yeah. So actually it'd be great if we could do it interactively. Unfortunately, we have like technical issues. We can't have it so that I can hear the audio at the same time as this is on, or that I can present the audio from my desktop to Pavel. So we'll do it the video. So bearing that in mind that we can't actually have the audio from the video at the same time. But this is the session in the DAW, in the DAW that we talked about earlier for the track that you were just listening to. So what we can see here is some different coloured tracks on the top here, some horizontal bars. And these represent the notes, the MIDI information, the data that's triggering the instrument. So each one of these little tracks has an instrument associated with it. The green ones are string instruments. The orange one.
Yeah, we can see soft strings, texture, viola. There is a cello as well.
Yeah.
Spitfire solo cello.
Spitfire solo cello. So I'm a big fan of the Spitfire stuff. This is one of the companies actually that inspired me to get going again with the music. I really love using their instruments. And the soft string structures is by a composer called Dan Keane, who works also with Spitfire. It's a very nice instrument that it's not just playing single notes. Actually, it's got some kind of rhythm built in and some texture built into it. So we have the strings, we have the percussion, some drums at the top there, and I can't scroll down now, obviously, but you see along the bottom the different colors that we have, and these colored sections are describing different types of instruments, basically different stems, what we say, and it's built like this to help with mixing. So we can say, okay, maybe I want all of the strings to be up, or if I want to add some more reverb, some more space to some sounds to create some position within the mix. I can control them differently between those. And this one, you can watch this video. It's on my YouTube channel. It's something that I streamed on Thursday night. So it's something I've started recently to stream my some of my composing. So if you're interested in watching the whole process, you can join me there, ask questions, of course, on there. And starting from the beginning one. So in this one, I started with the piano, and I started with some chords that were, let's say, maybe bad sounding chords to start with, not traditional harmony, but something a little bit discordant, and then building up from that and adding these layers onto this, making this repetitions, this loop, creating the textures in order to try and develop that into something that then sounded like it made sense. So you have something that is maybe like a little bit contemporary in having these off pitch notes, but when it's taken as a whole, this starts to work together, starts to form some cohesive musical picture there. So yeah, here we see the piano, the pink one's the...
Yeah, I switched to the beginning actually, so that maybe we could see, when it's like slightly less complicated.
Yeah, when we have just the starting thing. And there's different ways of approaching it with each composition. Sometimes I will start with maybe I want to do a certain type of music. So maybe I say, okay, I want to do some action music today, and I will try and work out some instruments to fit with this. Maybe like with this one, I didn't know at all what I was going to do. I was actually ready to take some ideas from the channel, but I started playing around with a piano, and I was like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. Play with these notes. Okay, this sounds kind of interesting. Okay, where does it go from there? And then exploring as I go, trying different things, and then start to get a feel for where it's going. Sometimes maybe I hear something already in my head, and it's like, okay, I know the theme that I want, or maybe I've watched a YouTube video where there's explaining some technique of harmony or of song structure or instruments, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and use this. Or I've heard some other track and I would like to try and work out what's going on in this track, so I will try and compose something around that. Generally, I'm not at risk of copying any music here. I'm just not good enough to like listen to John Williams or Hans Zimmer or other composers and be able to.
And by accident recreate it. You mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you are selling yourself too cheap, though. You're a really talented guy. But yeah, I mean, be able to like recreate it completely from hearing, it's of course difficult. Okay.
Yeah, so all these different approaches to come in and try and then build up something, or sometimes starting from a video again. We saw the trailer video before, so into something like this, or with the other videos that you can see. For example, in the showreel, there's a couple of them. You maybe just start with a video, maybe with some voice, and then from this you're like, okay, do some spotting through it, try and work out what's the beats of the story, and then from this. Work out what music will fit there.
Exactly. Uranium Bullet asks, it has to be very cathartic to pull ideas from your brain and give it the physical form in life, whether it's music, art, etc.
Definitely. There's a wonderful feeling that when you get into the flow of it, right, and you have those ideas coming, and something goes down, it starts to fit, and then Paul mentioned it earlier, right? Same with the game dev, when this moment when it starts to click together and you feel it, you're like, oh right, okay, now we have something. Now the pieces are coming together, and this is like a kind of exciting moment. And it's hard to stop at that point. At that point, you kind of have the momentum. You need to keep going, and And sometimes that with the everyday, that's the thing, right? Because I'm doing it every day, and normally I'm doing it at night. Sometimes I get to that moment and I'm like, okay, but now I have to stop because I need to go to bed. I have work tomorrow, and that's also another lesson to learn. Actually, another skill to learn. Like, okay, we see the time. I see how much time I have left, and now I need to close it off. Now I need to add the final details. I need to wrap it up. And even if it's not everything there that I wanted to put in, everything that's like bubbling away, how to tie it off with the bow, finish it, put it in, post it.
Sapphire wrote, I truly admire the creativity of others. To be able to see that creativity manifest itself into something enjoyed by others is amazing. I have lost touch of the creativity, but then I love seeing the art, music, stories that others create. It's interesting, Cole, because the it's like, at least for me, it's like that when I work on the idea on something, it's always different than when I make it than it was in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very typical, right? Like when you have an idea at least and you start building it and it turns to something else when you actually make it.
When you make it, yeah, you find out some things, you have some exploration. And actually, just to come to this point, because and it ties in with our games as well. There's lots of repeated themes here that I remember back in my music degree, we talked a lot about the philosophy of music. Like when is music actually music? Is it when it's notes written on the page? If you have a score, is that music? Is it when it's performed? Is it when something's playing it? Is it when there's an audience, when someone's listening to it and having this interaction? And actually, even just be someone who enjoys that music, who enjoys the games, who will interact with that. Even this is like a really important part of, let's say, the philosophical idea of realizing it, of making it what perform means, right? Give it form, perform it. And if you're performing it, there has to be someone also in there. There has to be some relationship with an audience, with a listener, some cycle here. So even this, I think, requires to be part of that process, right? It's an important element. So I really appreciate that you're listening to the music. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
DJ GNU wrote, when I make music and have a clear idea, no matter how clear it is, always leads to 10 different songs and ideas. 10 minutes turn into 10 hours. Yeah, I think like that always happens to us. Cool. Is there anything else we could point out from your video? Because like, of course, as you mentioned, this is on YouTube and, maybe without this extensive narration, but someone, of course, can watch it and see it. Is there anything you would want to point out from this specific recording? Or we switch to some more of your compositions? And we go back to answering the questions of the chat.
I think let's jump back to questions. If people have questions about the door or stuff, obviously I'm happy to answer that. But maybe they have some other things that they'd be interested in.
Okay, then. So let me actually flip to the switch really quickly to some of your compositions. Well, basically, maybe I'll just go every day. Sorry. Oh yes, musical sketches. That's what I was looking for. And let's do this. This is polka inspired music. Oh, here you go, something for Polish people.
So there's a story about this. Last night I was axe throwing with my friend Dominic, who it was his birthday, and one of the last things he said as we were finishing the night was, I want you to go home and write some polka music, because he'd seen some stuff about polka music. So I came home, I did some very, very surface level research about polka music, and I wrote something that has, I don't think that this would count probably as official polka music, but it has some polka elements involved in there.
Here you go, guys, some polka music. Okay, Grayman says, very insightful as a listener versus being a creator. For me, it's when it communicates with me. Camille, question to Colin. The Queen of the Highway, Panam Palmer or Juby? Also, why Panam Palmer? And from Witcher universe, Triss or Yennefer? Okay, so the question is, Cole, would you pick Panam or Judy? And in Witcher, would you pick Triss or Yennefer?
So difficult choices. I always had a soft spot for Judy, so this was my general choice. Also, I like playing female V. I think female V was the first V that I played with, so always she clicked with me. So yeah, I was always went with Judy, and in The Witcher, I think I lean towards Jennifer.
You would lean towards Jennifer. Okay, and when it comes to Cyberpunk?
Judy in Cyberpunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Judy. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. There's a question from Jadunio regarding music and sound design. Are you still working with Percival on the new Witcher remake and new games? Jadunio, we cannot talk about this, unfortunately, my friend. This is way too early to speak about any of those projects, my friend. So I'm sorry. Not possible to answer your question. Okay then, let me check some other. A question about Priscilla's song in The Witcher 3. Is the Polish version, I don't know if others too, is what sung with distinct breaks, as if it is considered to several connected fragments. Do you know why it looked like that, or is it a dubbing issue? Oh, I actually know the answer for this one, unless you call wanna take it. I'm not sure if you've been...
Yeah. So, well, okay, I'll give the answer that I think it is, and then you can tell me if I'm
wrong. Sure.
So with the Priscilla song, this was actually also it's a little bit of a callback to some technology we were talking about earlier, with the synchronizing the game to the music, because this wasn't technology that was there in the base game of The Witcher.
Yes.
There were no audio programmers for the base game, no dedicated audio programmers. Other programmers were helping to integrate the audio, so there was less focus on the audio technology. And because there wasn't this synchronization, and the Priscilla song is quite long, it meant that this would drift apart as the song goes on, which is what happens if you don't lock the animations, the scenes to the audio time, and you just start them at the same time. Then they will slowly become out of sync as this goes on. So the song had to be cut into shorter chunks, and then these chunks kicked off short enough that there wasn't drift within those syncs. But as you see in Cyberpunk, actually we can have the full songs with the synchronized, and we no longer had to have to take the step.
Yep. Yep, exactly. You explained it much better than I would. That's really Revolver the solution. That was really Revolver the reason.
I'm sorry for breaking your heart, Camille Cesaro. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just checking, if there's anything we could ask. Question from both of the gentlemen. Favorite short story from Sapkowski's books?
From Sapkowski's books, I'm going to go with Last Wish.
Yeah, I'd pick The Last Wish as well, to be honest. That's interesting that you said it, Cole. Yeah, I think honestly The Last Wish would be probably one of the best for me. So Machiavelli wrote, I'm #Team Sianna. Oh, here you go. That's probably like the one of the smallest teams Machiavelli we have out there. Probably like Team Takemura is bigger than Team Sianna. So here you go, or Team Uma. Sometimes I'm seeing it, like people are saying like Team Uma. Season of Stars, Crimson G&G wrote. Crimson Season of Stars is technically speaking not a short story. I mean, it's a short book, but it's not a short story. Cybervesta asked, what is small team? Sure. What is the small team, Cybervesta? The Team Black Sun, #Revolver Team Black Sun, sure. Okay then, my dears, because I'm not really seeing any more questions regarding the composition and so on, and we are slowly around the time when we agreed with Cole that we will be ending at least this part. So my dears, if there's nothing else that comes to your mind, then we'll be slowly switching to play the game simply for today. So one last chance basically to ask Colin a question. There is a Colin's music playing in the background, but I will switch already to this view so you can see us bigger. I would pick Saburo, Crimson wrote. Sure, Saburo is definitely an interesting choice. DJ GNU said, forgot the question because I'm in AV. I'm glad, DJ GNU, you are. Like the thing is, like as I mentioned, Colin is streaming on Twitch and then later putting those things on YouTube. And I will have all his socials in the comment to this YouTube video. You know, when I upload this, there will be links to the Cole's socials. But you saw it basically if you go at YouTube at Colin Walder or on Twitch, Colin Walder, then Cole Walder, then you will find Colin there. I'll add also Colin to my recommended streamers. I didn't manage to do it before the stream. Shrav2K said, lead Cyberpunk dev plays Cyberpunk occasionally. they're always just making fun of me, Colin, because like this stream is called Quest Director Plays Cyberpunk, and they always say play Cyberpunk eventually, or like play Cyberpunk sometimes, or play Cyberpunk music. So anyway, the Flash Xcorn asks, what opinion about using music as a reward for accomplishing a quest? Interesting question. Most of the time I'm turned off music after a short time because it ruins for me the immersion. But have found out if games only use music when you have finished a quest or saved one, was always very rewarding, but all the time music was disturbing. Oh, I see. So you're talking about like looped basically tracks. What is your opinion on that, Cole?
This is a little hard to answer in a general sense, because each game I think needs to make the choice of how to use that on its own. I could imagine a situation where, for example, maybe you would only want to have this at the end, but if you're going for let's say like a cinematic aesthetic and you want to portray some of the emotions during the quest, then probably you do want the music through the quest. Maybe you want to have like some change at the end to highlight that something is going on, that something's gone different there. But it's hard to imagine, for example, having scenes without music, like generally, maybe like individual ones where the absence of the music then would become a more powerful impact.
Right? Yeah,
but
exactly.
In order to have that, you have to have the music in the other places as well.
Yeah, good point. Shrav2K asks ask Colin about his thoughts on FF06B5. I'm not going to, because this is a secret, and we are not talking about FF06B5. So so here you go. Uranium Bullet asks, what makes for good ambient in-game music? Cyberpunk nailed this. It's subtle and it doesn't play all the time, but when it does, it perfectly conveys the danger, mystery, and vastness of neon-soaked megacity.
So when we're thinking about ambient music, and I think this also ties in with linear media as well, the important thing is to focus more on the mood, on the feel of it, and not on trying to grab the attention, right? So if you have strong melodies or maybe like strong rhythms in there, this can draw too much attention to the music, especially if there's not other stuff happening on screen that would represent that. So the secret is to try and step back a little with the music, to hold it back, to keep it a little more simple. It needs to be evolving. It needs to have some change, but not so much that it's going to hook the mind or the feelings of the player. Just enough to create this bed, and you have to keep in mind as well where you want to go from that, right? Because this ambient music, this is like often a starting point where we're going to go into some combat music or into some stealth music, and you have to leave the room. You have to leave some space to be able to transition and step it up and go to some other level there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting answer. I mean, I don't think I have much more to add. Like maybe the fact that like when we were designing this for Cyberpunk, I remember numerous conversations with Marcin Przybyłowicz actually. When we were asking him, Marcin wouldn't be too quiet. You know, when you just go through the city and there won't be anything playing, would it be fine? Because at the beginning it was quite a bit more than now, I think. But Marcin was saying, no, this will be actually perfect, because then the music will become a thing, you know, when it comes in actually, and so on. And I think your question a moment ago just kind of highlights the fact that it sort of worked. You know, that was a good call in general to have it done like that. So I think it worked, and ultimately Marcin was right, with the way he was seeing it. So I think this is very
And if you think about Cyberpunk especially has so much else going on in the city, right? The diegetic music. So as you're walking through the shop fronts, some of the shop fronts, we have a system for distributing the music between them. So you'll hear that music. You'll hear TV adverts. You'll hear adverts that broadcast around, and that's like important to have this like kind of cacophony. Just feel the ambience of the city there, and that does need some space from the musical score in order to have it. We had a similar thing actually on Blood and Wine. If we look at the difference between the main game music and the music on Blood and Wine, in the main game there's like almost solid music. There's like almost always music happening, at least a release. And one of the things that the composers felt afterwards is actually that then starts to make the music tune out. So one of the things we did in Blood and Wine was we created random containers. So sometimes there is ambient music, and sometimes there isn't. And actually, this isn't a super like AI system defining this or not. It's done very effectively and simply by the composers themselves. They were able to build this where it will do it, and just because of the way that this is implemented, it will happen sometimes, and you will actually have this almost like some feeling of intention behind it, and often there will be something changing in the world or something going there that will make sense. It can happen, especially if you make a transition in the world, then you'll have the music kick in and it will mark those moments especially. So again, creating those dynamics, right? This is important to have these dynamics. Sometimes have the silence that is the right choice in order to later on increase the impact of your music.
Yeah, very well said. Sphere Hunter Susie wrote, after edge runners walking through the city and hearing "I want to stay in your house" coming from shops always hit hard. It's a brilliant immersive design.
I always loved this track. I remember hearing it for the first time, and obviously like somewhat earlier in development, and I had the original file so I could listen to it on my computer. Yeah, it was always one of my favorites, and so having that show up in Edge Runners in the way that it did, this was really nice for me. Really hit home. Yeah,
it was a masterful implementation of that. Really, like to trigger this trauma in a really the most touching way.
Yeah,
I would say. Okay, guys, I think we will be slowly going to an end, even though the questions are still popping, but we slowly need to start playing the game. I would say maybe the last one question, it's quite interesting, from Jadunio. A pretty interesting one. It's about music implementation. What do you think about the Dark Souls solution? No music during exploration and mega bombastic opera during boss fights.
Yeah, I think it can be an effective solution for this game, especially. It's a game that is like so focused around these bosses, and the Dark Souls whole franchise. It revolves around these really incredibly immaculately crafted, detailed boss fights with this like focus on gameplay that really like leads the way. I know that when we were working on Hearts of Stone, I was talking to the gameplay designers. They were like referencing this. This is what we would like to push towards. For example, with the caretaker fight, looking at this and saying, "Oh, this is what we want." So here you have a game where the general approach of it isn't so much towards like creating a film, right? Like let's say a cinematic experience, as to having this really gameplay centric, hardcore experience. Of course, it wants to have the nice aesthetics and everything, and the mood and the environment happening too, but it absolutely makes sense in this case that you want to, we're going to put all of the emphasis on these really important moments of the game, and you're going to, because you have that silence, it's going to create even more of a impact when this comes in, right? You're going to really feel that dynamic jump that, here's something that is very special, right? This is a big, super important moment.
Exactly. Okay, then, my dears, I think we will be wrapping this up. There's the downpour ambient music from Everyday 417 playing. So I wanted to thank you, Colin, so much for coming here today and talking to us. It was really inspiring as always. I love, the fact that we can just, share thoughts and so on and just talk to the players. We listened to a lot of your compositions. We have seen the way you compose. I guess we wish you, all the best, my friend, in all your, coding
composing, programming, managing, directing career. There's many things ahead of us to finish, and for our players. Would you like to say anything at the end, Cole?
I just want to say thank you very much, Pavel, for having me on board. Thanks to the chat for all of your questions and comments. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great time, and hopefully I'll see you all around at some point. It's been a blast.
Thank you so much, Cole. So that being said, my dears, I will be now switching to our standard view. So see you, Cole.
Bye.
And I'll just give me a second, my dears. I will basically disconnect from the call with Colin so that we can basically continue playing as we are planning to. I'm talking about the Cyberpunk right now. My dears, how are you? How are you feeling? How it's been? Let me play some more Cyberpunk music at the background. Yeah. Hi chat, hi Pavel, Furious Furball Road. This was really interesting. Thank you so much, guys. I'm really happy. I really want to bring a bit more spotlight, for our various, I would say, Reds, that are, members of the team and so on. So, Hermit Road, how I'm feeling? Hangover. Yes, if you say so. If you say so, my friend. If you say so. Is there anything, guys, you would want to address before we jump to playing to the game? Because I'm seeing, just to be sure that we had enough time for questions. Very interesting conversations. Always great to know more about various aspects of game dev. Awesome, Ilusi. That was the idea. Revolver asks, okay, when 1.7? I'm really glad you never disappoint. You guys never disappoint. That's very cool. When the DLC's coming, cool. That's the expansion, not the DLC. Well, kinda. That's the expansion. So, how's the US? You don't seem very tanned. I am quite tanned. It's maybe the light. I am quite tanned, my friend. 1.7 after 1.69. Exactly like this. That being said, I'm really glad to be here, guys. I missed you, to be honest. Bartek wrote, thanks, Colin. That was a very interesting conversation. Thank you, Bartek, for being here with us. You are the best. So, guys, I'm just checking the questions if I didn't miss anything important before we jump to playing the game. There's a question, is Boston offering the internships? As I mentioned, I think in the past few times, there is probably a scenario in which Boston will be offering internships, but it won't be at the very beginning. When you're building and constructing the team, you need to first make sure you have the whole management and the people, the leads and coordinators, the key people there who will be able to hire for those positions and build the team actually and put everyone on the same page. So that's the most important thing. So please have that in mind, that needs to happen first before we're able to offer any internships. So I assume it will happen eventually, but not at the very beginning. So yes. Oh, Viewerdyne joined us. That's perfect. Viewerdyne dodged the whole section of the talking about the music. Science fiction person says, what do you think about articles that talk about mismanagement in certain game studios? Do you think they help or hurt the industry? Difficult conversation. I mean, I think in a grand scheme of things, they do help the industry, because this is what being a journalist in general means. And like, I think in most cases, articles like that brought actually more positives than negatives. But to be completely honest with you, like one of the downsides I would say that I'm seeing, and again, it requires, it's all, you know, it's all important that the journalists will understand that when you're talking about whatever is happening in any of the studios, when you're talking with people who have been, let's say, let go years ago, you know, from a given studio, you need to be conscious as a journalist that the depiction and a version of the story that that person is telling you is heavily tinted and influenced by their unique story and what happened in their own professional life. And I don't think this is something that I always see from the journalists, that there is this sort of balance. And again, you know, I have masters in journalism, right, in psychology, so I think I know something about it, at least. And that's one of the things we've been always taught, right? Like, when you are doing a story, a piece about anything, you need to basically be sure that your sources are credible and make sure that, you know, you are also, like, let's say if you're talking about specific studio and so on, just make sure to check with various people, right? Like people who are still in the studio, like maybe other people that left the studio, and just confirm that story. And again, because that story might be true for this one specific person, but a relationship of this one specific person with their manager or more managers really rarely reflects the situation, the whole organization, or a whole hierarchy that's very complex. You know, those are human relationships. They by definition are different, you know? So I think this is very important to highlight. However, like in general, I think those articles do help, you know, like in a grand scheme of things, they do help the industry. They do help in a way of, you know, I would say, mismanagement, let's call it, and all the, like, you know, wrong practices, I would call them, slowly get eradicated and removed, you know. So like in general, I think it does help, you know. I just wish it would be, you know, there will be more, you know, effort sort of put into checking the sources, making sure it's, you know, properly, always checked, confirmed. God damn it, what is happening in that chat? Pablo, do you think that Phantom Liberty release date that someone once accidentally revealed is still valid or not so much? I have no idea, Pablo, what you're talking about, to be honest. I have no idea. I don't know what date has been revealed, but I know that when the time is right, we'll talk about it, you know? So, hey, that's basically what I wanted to say. Yeah, tricky question. I mean, you know, guys, you're probably not born yesterday. You know, Pablo, he's been here with us for a whole year and a half or so, and I'm streaming, and we know, you know, he is known for the tricky questions, you know. Tricky question is practically his middle name, you know. That's basically how it is. Jadunio asks, hey, another question that somewhat reflects the previous year. In your subjective opinion, 2022 best movie, show, and game. What is your opinion deserved GOTY? Oh, God. It's so difficult for me to say, Jadunio, because, like, I am known for playing the games few years after they are after they are already sorry, I have some issues. Oh, God, I accidentally pinned the message. Anyway, what I want to say is that, like, I normally play games like years after they're already released. Same goes for movies and so on. So I'm not too good in that stuff. Like, I can't tell that I played, like, the top grossing and most important games of 2022. I can't say that I watched all the best movies, you know. Same goes for books, you know. So unfortunately, I am so behind, you know, when it comes to that. So I won't be able to tell you, my friend. Sphere Hunter wrote, yes, please take your time. Yeah, I mean, we know how important it is, Susie. So we are doing our best, really. Cybervesta wrote, come on, August 2023 to be legendary. Yeah. By the way, for those who don't know, August 2023, this is the attack on the Arasaka Tower, of course. Right, if I'm not mistaken, obviously a legendary date.
So yeah, here you go. I thought the pinned message was an inside joke. Yeah, I pinned it by accident when I was scrolling through the chat. So no, it was not an inside joke, at least as much as I know. Movie Top Gun Maverick, Uranium Bullet wrote, I mean, for sure, for me, it would be high. Game Elden Ring, I would probably agree, but I've seen way too little Elden Ring yet to say. And show House of the Dragon, I didn't see House of the Dragon yet, still on my list. Uranium Bullet. So again, would love to be able to tell you, but Pavel would easily beat the polygraph test. Lol. I mean, I'm not really sure if I would, but that would be definitely an interesting experience. Sphere Hunter wrote that would be a genius release date. Yeah, well, yeah, time to party like it's 2023. True. Viewradine, grateful you're able to stream for us and tell us all these awesome tidbits about your passion project. Thank you for all of that, what you have done. Thank you, Viewradine. I really appreciate you being here with us. Okay, my chums, I think we need to fucking go to playing the game, right? Because that was the idea. We're supposed to go and play the game right now. I'm just checking if I didn't miss anything, because otherwise we will be chatting for till the end of the end of times. Do you have news for future The Witcher 3 patches? No, Stackaton, I actually don't have any news. However, what I can tell is that we know about the issues. Unless you think that we don't know about your specific issue, then please point it out and send it to customer support as always. And I know the team is really actively working. You know, as we officially tweeted that we are working on things. So that is as much as I can tell. You know, right now it's also that, you know, I'm more working on Cyberpunk much more than on The Witcher 3 nowadays. I do know what's happening, of course, in the team, but you know, I'm not that involved. So I also my information might not be the newest, I would say. Yes. Atomic Sarina wrote House of the Dragon. Yes, the only one TV show that didn't disappoint me last year. Yep. Do you have any thoughts about the price of Forspoken? 79 euros for the base game, nearly 100 for deluxe. Feel free to skip this if it's a touchy subject. I mean, Furious Furball, I mean, well, in a way, the biz dev decisions and the pricing decisions, this is not something I know anything about. Well, one thing I know is that the development of a AAA games nowadays is really expensive. You know, now, is this 79 euro justified for base game and 100 for a deluxe edition? I mean, that sounds quite pricey, to be honest, but I imagine, you know, that people that are behind this made those decisions, you know, consciously calculating, you know, how much they have to make to break even, and be able to as a studio survive. So I imagine on the side of the devs and the studio, there was a lot of reasoning put behind it. Now, if that's too high, I mean, the price is quite steep in comparison to other projects, right? To other games. So, but you know, I didn't play Forspoken. I don't know how the game looks like, how the game plays out. I've seen previews, yes. I've read about the game. I have watched the video, even yesterday, a long preview of Forspoken. If I'm not wrong, yeah, I think it was yesterday. But it's hard for me to tell, you know, what is actually in the game specifically. Bartek wrote, I got to go. Thanks for the stream. Pavel, thank you, Bartek, for being with us. I appreciate that you decided to pop for a bit. Okay. Pablo asks, Pavel, is the lack of changing the lights in vehicles between high and low beam a deliberate change in patch 1.61? I'm not completely sure, Pablo. I know for sure that our programmers in the team responsible for vehicles, they were looking into it. But is there something that was changed, and was it intentional? I frankly don't know. If you feel that something broke, sure. Go for it and just report it, please, to our customer support. I really don't know
like, I know the team was looking into it. Like, does it mean that they've done something and they changed something and it was shipped and released at that time? I honestly have no idea, Pablo. Like, I've seen in the past, players reporting things that were not broken or didn't change, and players were reporting that they did, and other way around. So sometimes it's really tricky to say, even for the players, let alone me, knowing exactly everything about every change. But anyway, if you feel that something's wrong, my friend, just please report it to customer support. I'm not a specialist on the matter, as you can imagine. Like the lights in vehicles, that's something that's definitely not my strong side. Pavel 451 asks, Pavel, have you seen the movie Escape from New York? I'm curious. Kaparos. Interesting icon. Sorry, I switched to Polish by a second because I read your name in Polish and my brain started processing the language differently. My friend, yes, I've seen Escape from New York. Why are you asking? Shrav 2K says, CDPR internal dev 5, please replay with your password. Okay, cool. Cool, Shraft. Very interesting question. Pavel, check for yourself. Since patch 1.61, you can't switch between 3 light modes anymore. Interesting, Pablo. That is very strange, what you're saying. Thank you for your comment. I'll actually make a note for myself, my friend, to be able to be sure that I don't forget. Yeah, because it might be something worth really looking into. Thank you, Pablo. I really appreciate. Escape from Dogtown, Pablo wrote. All right, you're referring to the previous question. I frankly have no idea what you guys are talking about, but that's fine. It's not the first time when you just leave me and I don't know what's going on. Sorry, my keyboard's loud, but I'm just making a note from Pablo's comment to myself. That is it. Okay, my dears, one last look on the chat, and we are moving to playing the game. What is your stance on skill checks in dialogue options? I quite like them if they're done properly. Correct me if I'm missing some good examples, but most of them seem to be just inconsequential extra dialogue with no other reward changes. Will skill checks carry more weight in the future? You're Uranium talking about Cyberpunk or in general? Because your question looked like it's in general at the beginning, but then it sounds like it's more about Cyberpunk. So I'll answer both ways. So I think they can be done well. They're difficult to be done well, though. Like, I've seen numerous games that have done them, and very often when you see it, it kind of feels like a fake dialogue. It doesn't really feel like a properly done writing, in this specific scenario, for this specific scenario. So it's quite difficult actually to pull off those skill check dialogue options, because let's say suddenly, you have someone who is fantastic in engineering, let's say. It's not that easy, to come up with a believable and probable actual conversation. So those very often look quite fake and stiff, I would say. Now, when it comes to your question, will skill checks carry more weight in the future? Well, I mean, the idea was that they do carry some weight. Now, part of it is role-playing, so you as a character playing a certain kind of type of character, and you just able to obtain a different, let's say, flavor, from a dialogue, some kind of additional informations, things and hints about the world that you wouldn't otherwise. That's one thing. But second is some of them are doing, do some changes in the quests and offer you some small branches, but there's not much of it, So I would personally love to have more, I would say, specifically consistency and maybe depth behind it. That would be fantastic. Okay then. Ellie Young asks, what's the new expansion release? Blisk once for soon.
I am not sure, my friend, what I'm supposed to do and say. So, yes, let's leave it as it is. Rumored on IMDb. What is rumored on IMDb? Yeah, everyone. Yes, Pavel said that 23 August 2023 is Cyberpunk World. It's Cyberpunk World Silverhand's attack Arasaka Tower. So 3 dots. Well, I didn't say anything. That was a bit of the lore information for you, my dears. Stackaton asks, are you quest director for Cyberpunk Sequel 2? That seems to be the case, Stackaton. That seems to be the case. But what exactly my role will be and how it will change, because it may change. It didn't change yet, but it may change in some ways. We'll see, but I'm excited, my friend, and I'll fucking do my best, you know. As you know, I always try to do my best. Scaring of enemies with these reputations spec check is amazing. Please, more of them. Yeah, I remember like few cases of those, and I remember even on the stream, I think the guys that were trying to steal the motorcycle and they fucking run away seeing me. So that was a cool piece. I like that. Any comment on the new Witcher symbol at destroyed Bastion? She-Lakes. Shelix asks, well, no. I am not going to be talking about anything that might. Anything that might be touching anything. Yes, not saying anything more. Do you like Bells of Laguna Bend? Do you? Classic Pavel. Well, I mean, I'm not really. Yes, sure. Classic Pavel. I'm not saying anything. But that's as classic as it goes. Almost slipped there. Nah, Galaxy. There's no way. I've been trained in fire. You guys, for a year and a half. You guys have been asking me questions for a year and a half to the point that honestly, like, I think right now, if I would be fucking interrogated and like burnt and like waterboarded, I wouldn't fucking say anything. Honestly, like I was tested in fucking fire. I will tell you that. Hello, Kazaliski, nice to have you with us, my friend. Yes. Pavel doing the Matrix with bullet time with questions. Yes, exactly. Pavel did pretty good. I mean, hey, you know, this is your guys' doing, and I'm actually really thankful for it because you make me be better. You know, you make me be better, and I love that. Like, there's nothing that excites me more than improvement. You know, there's nothing more that excites me more. Love the tune. Hope your holidays were great. Yes, so holidays were fucking incredible. Honestly, like we were talking with Sapphire that that was probably, like, I mean, in my case at least, and I was like definitely the best holiday in my life. You know, like the best trip and so on. It was so awesome. Loved it. You know. We need more Pablos at this point. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think that Pablo is doing quite well, to be honest. Like, I'm always playing like fucking 4-dimensional chess when I read his questions in my brain. Because, like, you know, you can paint the answers in so many fucking different ways. Jesus Christ. So there's still lots of learning on my side. There's still lots of learning, but I'm excited actually to go through that path and actually learn, you know, and be better on that front. So here we go. Revolver, recently I rewatched the Witcher 10th anniversary video. Fantastic PR work, by the way. And one thing interests me, why did Ceres Hjalmar and Mausak didn't appear in Corvo Bianco? Oh, I mean, Revolver, we talked about it during the development, but it didn't really feel right, to be honest, like, to have them appear in Corvo Bianco. Like, why those would specifically, why those should specifically be you know, there. Like, there's like so many other characters that could, right? So it's like, yeah. Sphere Hunter wrote, you all come to Vegas next time. Oh God. Okay, I guess that sounds like a cool trip. Pavel, how Witcher 4 is going? Marso asked. I never heard about this game. I did hear about the new Witcher saga. I did hear about Polaris, but I didn't hear about what did you say? Witcher 4? No idea what that is, to be honest. Pavel, will the next free DLC, like the missing 4th gig you once showed on the screen, I didn't, be in the patches or together with expansion? Pablo, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember you addressing that, why Cyberpunk has 2077, why the story takes place in 2077. I honestly, frankly, very good question. I frankly don't know completely. Like, I know that was basically people who at this time, it was 2012, 13, were working on the game. Were basically like focused on creating, you know, and structuring how it actually should be. And that was the decision made there. I haven't been involved in that decision, my friend. So I frankly can't really tell, you know. So I don't know, my friend. I don't know, my friend. You know what this is? This is a Cyberpunk 2077. Can you hear the music? You do. Okay. Chums, one additional topic though. I have the mechanical keyboard that I got as a present from my dear Sapphire, which is amazing. I have the Black Widow V3, so like new Black Widow, because I literally busted my keyboard. Like, I spilled like fucking Coke on it. Not cocaine, Coca-Cola. I spilled like Coca-Cola on my keyboard and fucking broke it. So I got the Black Widow V3, which is fucking awesome. It's not a marketing for Black Widow, but it's great. But it's loud. So just wanted to say, if you will hear me like fucking click my keyboards as like a pro player, just wanted to say I am a pro player. Just in case you're wondering, you know, how it happens and so on and why my keyboard's so loud suddenly. Hey, so here you go. That's it. Exactly. Uranium bullet. Click, 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 click. Oh yeah, sneaky Sasko time, exactly. It's a fucking... By the way, this quest is the one that I designed and implemented, worked together with Aleksandra Motyka, who wrote the dialogues for it, and Michał Zbrzeźniak, who did scenes for this quest, and I'm really looking forward to play it with you. Right. Thanks for the Coke clarification, 3DM. Oh, no problem, my friend. I know that it was very easy to get mistaken. You know. Can you show us your keyboard? I don't think I can show you my keyboard because it's, you know, on cable, and I'm worried I will fucking break some shit. But you can Google it. It's basically Black Widow, last Black Widow. It's nice. Okay. Guys, I need to keep playing, okay? Let's play the game. Let's go. So she said she has an idea, right? We are supposed to get into the Ebunike. Okay, sneaky rogue, this sneaky. Okay. How you guys liking my sneaking so far? I think we are doing excellent. Jesus Christ, there's this person there.
Well, what the fuck do you want me to do? Can you open
it? I'm just peeking from behind of these barrels, god damn it. The combat music almost started and I was like, god damn it. I was seen. Is there a camera here? There is, but I can't see it right. Oh, there is. Holy fuck. Oh, oops. Okay, guys, let's go. Sphere Hunter said later, everyone. Thank you, Susie, so much for coming over. It's always appreciated that you're here with us. Ooh. I saved every few steps. Yeah.
See 'em all? Gotta get to the data term quietly.
Okay, chums. Stealth missions are the best. Oh yeah? I mean, I'm glad you like them. Throw a grenade, they shoot grenade in the air. G Apollo said. Jesus Christ, I mean, what are you expecting me to do? I'm good, but not this good. Oh, and I should do it quietly as well. That's... Okay, I need to save again. That keyboard sound focuses me way too much. Yeah. Yeah, the keyboard is loud. Stick your walls of Monty's blades on walls or object, Machiavelli said. Cool. Sure, Machiavelli. I'll download really quickly build from 2018 and we'll be on our way. Science fiction person, why did Cyberpunk not follow the saga format that the Witcher games? I feel like Witcher benefited from the character investment because Geralt was in 5 books and 3 games. Well, very good point, but Geralt is a formulated character, right? Like, while in Cyberpunk, you have the character that you make yourself, right? I think it's a very important distinction. Besides, you said why Cyberpunk didn't follow it. I mean, as far as I'm aware, we have shipped so far only 1 Cyberpunk game. So I'll leave it at that, my friend. You know, there's nothing that happened yet, you know. So we'll see what the future brings, my friend. But it's an important thing to remember, right?
Don't get yourself spotted.
God damn it, I'm so sneaky. Pavel, don't tease, man. I mean, I'm not teasing anything. I'm just saying, right? I'm just spitting facts. Holy fuck, someone's coming. I'm just telling you facts, right? Like, we have shipped only 1 game. Lakina, thank you so much for the sub. My friend, thank you for the prime. Do a Naruto run and breeze through everyone. I mean, sure. We could, I guess, at some point. But for now, I'll try to stay sneaky. To just, like, maybe trigger a bit more conversations. And see what happens here. Oh, interesting. The hell?
Okay, guns a-blazing then. We're going to Maelstrom's main storehouse. Data terms there. Gotta check. See if they have anything on Smasher.
God damn it, this stealth is tiring, you know? I already stealthed so long that I was like, you know what? Maybe we can do some shooting. I have shot him in the knee. You know, that's basically what happened.
Fight! Join you in a sec!
I have shot his head off. The end of stealth. I mean, sure. Oh, I have this hatch? Oh, right, because we have crafted last time. God damn it.
Never forgot how to do it!
Leave my rogue alone, bastards. God damn it. Okay, guys, I think we're fine, you know. Mommy Rogue beating Maelstrom. Exactly.
Shut the whole fucking lot!
Who the fuck is shooting you? Oh.
Cover me! Reloading!
Sure, I'm covering your Rogue, no worries, you can trust me. I'm literally, like, very trustworthy on that regard.
Do I have to do everything for you?
Okay, chums, the plot thickens, as they say. Yes, this is a new record of players Pavel's sneakiness, exactly. I was sneaking for quite a... What the fuck? That was not nice. Okay, guys, let's go. Stealth are the bear missions, cause it's fun as hell when you break the stealth. That's true.
Aim for one.
Thanks, Rogue. Did he like fucking exploded himself there? I think so, right? Jesus Christ.
Way to go.
Is he gonna die? No.
Be back in a sec.
I hope that I answered your question, my friend. Smasher's wife wrote, hello. Hello, Smasher's wife. We were just talking about you.
Gonna get your head in this fight or not?
Of course we were, you know what we are playing. We are playing Chippin In right now, and you know what that means. That means that we'll uncover some things that your husbando was doing, right? Oh, that's only net. Yes, exactly.
See that fuck? They're mine.
Yeah, fuck. I found some lab, my chums. Holy shit, what they are doing here. Okay. I love this music, by the way. Fucking banging cyberpunk
That's
combat
it.
music. Did I miss him? Have you tried playing the game without minimap? I really like it because it looks more to the infrastructure instead of just the map. Oh, I didn't try, but I really like doing that as well. To be honest, like I love when the game offers options like this.
You're up, down, or what? Aim for
Holy
what?
fuck! I'm hitting that rail. It's just much more. What? It's just much more immersive, like this, when you're just not playing, not looking at the.
Hey,
Jesus
leave 'em
Christ.
alone for me.
Okay, I have done it the old-fashioned way, and like tanked the whole fucking shots in my face. Okay, chums, let's go. Let's sneak through here.
Got the whole fucking lot.
Ha! She distracted him. We are a perfect team. We are such a fucking perfect team. Are you sure you're playing on very hard? Yeah, I am. I can check, of course. I can check, of course. But as far as I am, I'm playing on very hard. It's just like, Camille, the thing is that I am so good. And also, I'm so busted at this point already. You can see it here. Oh, by the way, one perk available. That's fucking sexy. I am already so busted at this point, my friend, that there is just really difficult to stop me. Gladiator. Blocky melee attacks. Okay, I never do that. Oh, okay, let's finish the true grit then. Here you go. Sasko humble brag. No, that wasn't even a brag. It was just a reality. No, it's just like, you know, when you spend like 265 hours, I think I have in this session, on this save, like I am so OP at this point.
Just never forgot how to do it.
Okay, I think this is the main one where we're supposed to go. So I'm going to just wreck all of those tubes. What the heck?
Quick, before they get that cannon loaded again.
That was a nice slow-mo, chums. How are you feeling about this? I need to disable this camera. Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Sniper, stay sharp.
Sniper, stay sharp. I like this, okay?
Pretty bad. Minimize risk.
I am staying sharp. I mean, they do so much damage. How do you move so fast with the 05 with only 18 body? I don't know, actually. I think that's been always like that.
That's it.
I mean, maybe because, like, I do have from what I remember, I do have the gear that gives me, like, +2 body. And because of that, I'm able to, because so technically speaking, I have 20 body, not 18. Okay.
Won't be anything left to scrape up.
This is a cool thing. You can actually like, I'm feeling like I'm mixing the music here, you know? Where the hell?
There's more where that came from.
I'm impressed. Seriously.
Okay, chums, let's go. What the hell? Who is...
What's with you? Gonna get ahead of this.
Ha! I will push you to the death! Come over here! You bad person! Yes, I took care of him. Wow, Rogue is actually really... It was actually so much work, my dears, to make sure that Rogue works properly here in this whole encounter. Because like, this whole encounter is so complicated. You can do it in like so many different ways as a player.
Not even sorry for it.
So like, we've been actually like paying a special attention to just make sure that you can play it in like different ways, you know, as a player. You can bust through the main gate, you can do everything and then kill them. Fucking explosions. Root push, exactly. Okay, dears. Oh shit! Someone's behind me. Holy fuck! You bastard!
Shut the whole fucking lot!
Fucking hell! What the fuck? Oh shit! I'm glad Rogue is with me. Oh hello! That's like she was literally on fire, like figuratively and precisely. You need to start dying. This is boring. Oh shit! Don't tell me. What do you mean by start dying? No, I'm not dying at all, my friends.
They're mine!
Shit. Fuck the grenade. Woo. What? Nope. Nope. I spoken too soon, didn't I? Holy fuck. Thanks for the death. Thanks for the first death. No. No, that was not the plan, actually. Holy fuck. Okay. Looting during combat is so annoying. I do that too. Oh yeah, Machiavelli. I actually shouldn't be doing that, but I just like looting, so I just do collect all my stuff. Okay, guys. No fucking around. Time to get rid of those bitches. Okay, that was not exactly what I wanted.
Going to Maelstrom's main store.
As you can see, like here, actually, like Rogue's conversation kicks in because I had to take care of the situation when player does what I did, which is like basically just start blasting before actually like figuring out what Rogue. What the hell? What Rogue was supposed to tell me. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Albino 2009, thank you so much for the sub, my friend. You can have here this fantastic stream when fucking guy that is supposed to be knowing what he's doing, he has no idea. Because this is not only the game that I've been working on, this is not only the quest that I made, but this is also an encounter that I've been working on. So yeah, you know, a lot of I would say a lot of embarrassing things are happening right now. Let me fucking focus because, you know, because of all of those trips and time away, I seriously got much worse. Fuck. Hello? Shit, I'm sorry guys, I got blocked in Enviro. Okay. That's it, I'm fucking done. I'm done. Pavel's hot, thanks. So close. No, I got blocked on Enviro because like I walked in like docking and I got up and I got blocked on collision there. That was like so stupid. Anyway, I need some better... I need like some better approach to this combat, to be honest.
Okay. Guns ablazing.
That's not exactly what I wanted.
Data terms there. Gotta check. See if they have anything.
What the fuck is this ninja doing? What?
Hey, leave a little for me.
Shit. I'm hiding here. Okay. You motherfuckers.
Sniper, stay sharp.
Thanks for the tributes, Pavel. You're a good team player. Oh, thanks, Chum. I guess. I'm not sure if this is exactly what I wanted, but here you go. Let's say it's intentional.
Get her the fuck off me!
Yeah, fuck it over.
Find her! On the move!
Fucking hell! I think like this feels like a tower defense now.
Cover me, reloading.
20,000 damage headshot. Okay, I mean, that's cool.
One way to go. Forward.
Okay. Now let's reload. Nice, proud of you for that. Oh, thank you, Smasher's wife. Thank you so much. Me smashing and all that stuff.
Sniper, stay sharp.
Sniper. Oh shit.
Good, good. Keep that up.
Come on, you bastards.
Keep your eyes on this one.
Oof. That's Pavel, don't tell us you forgot the sniper on the roof
Your optics
to the right.
Aim for one.
Oh yeah. I actually forgot. That's true, but here we go. I survived. At least till now. Holy shit.
Oh, I hate those things.
Like when I'm playing on very hard, you know, like I am because of everything that I was doing, I'm OP enough to sort of like almost one-shot them and then definitely one-shot them if I'm like aiming in heads and shit. But because it's very hard, they are able also to one-shot me in most cases.
Let's talk.
So I really need to be careful. Because like any direct hit and I'm fucking dead. Okay, one less. Jesus Christ, this is like literally dismantling this. I'm literally dismantling this encounter, my dears. So here, as you can see, actually one of the cool things that we have done with this encounter is like, here you can see here there's this car, you know, and you can actually get on here. I don't know if you have actually ever done it, but this is basically like a, you know, station for Netrunners. You can see that it was built, you know, purposely to be basically looking like the, you know, spot for the Netrunners, you know, with this, with all this deco and so on. This is like completely uniquely built here. There's some active device, but I can't really do anything much more. I believe that there was an option for me to hook up to the network from here. But as you can see, you know, as a player, I can also do that. And I was able to save. Perfect. Anyway, to replay first time equipping weapon animations on consoles? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so, my friend.
Here she is, the ugly
You wanna
bitch!
play with me? Come on.
Seriously, here she is, the ugly bitch. They are so nasty. Like, they are so rude, those people. Okay, my dears, let's go.
Be back in it in a sec.
Fall dash!
Okay, we are getting there. We
One
are.
way to go.
Are we?
Forward.
Okay, let's go through here.
Yes.
Okay, one last guy here. Perfect. Okay, we are almost there, my dears. We are almost there. Yeah, that's the one with the technical ability. Perfecto. Okay. There is like so many fucking enemies here, but you know, in the same time when we were like building this encounter, like the intention was you are literally getting to one of the locations of Maelstrom, right? So the whole idea was that it's supposed to look like heavily guarded and there's supposed to be like many enemies, especially if you do what I did, which is basically like instead of sneaking in, which is like sort of the suggested path. You can, of course, you know, blast everyone. But this might be sort of a difficult way to play this quest. Let me look at the messages. So, my dears, do you recognize Lars and Viggy? So, I don't know if you ever realized that, but Lars, he's the one of the Maelstromers that is actually during the deal in the pickup quest. Do you remember that? Yep, I made sure actually that this is all consistent with the Maelstromers from All Foods, so that, you know, it creates like one story that we are telling here. And Lars says, cut the scope shit. I just spam Contagion and Cyber Psychosis. Oh, cool. Well, that's the OP way to play it. Okay, Lars says, fuck, leave the dogs where, how, what expansion? You even know how to spell that gonk? Guess you do know, huh? Next time you wanna go telling the boys some shit, come to me first before you fuck everything up. I'll fucking spell it out for you if I have to. Where the fuck's this stuff come from, huh? The sea? Moron. Why are the only ones guarding the tripesaurs? Cause we control the docks. So, can you leave the docks and go to some la-la land where grass is greener and the sea slime don't stink? Fuck no, we can't clear. Fuck no, we can't clear. Yep. Well, you know, and here basically from out of those messages, of course, you can reconstruct or deconstruct as a player what is actually, you know, happening here. In the Ebunike docks, what they're actually specifically doing here.
Nice of you to show. We're starting to get bored.
The consciousness curse. Interesting. Pavel voice acting is the reason I'm here. Okay. Cool. Let's try this one. The consciousness cure. The consciousness curse. I mean. Man dies the way he was born. Soft, weak, and helpless. Death, the one certainty in the universe of chaos, can be both a tragic end and a release from suffering. It can come as an unexpected twist, or as a beautiful, crowning counterpart of a life well lived. The curse we face as humanity, the only living being, is constant awareness of death, is our inordinate focus of the fact. How much happier is the life of the gazelle that escapes the chica's clutches, thinking that it evades death once and for all, that the poor soul living out his days knowing each step inches from him closest to the void. Here you go, my friend. Here you go, you know, some of this Maelstrom philosophy. This is what I have for you.
Don't fucking drag this out.
Okay, I won't, if you're asking me nicely, I won't drag this out, my friend. I think there was actually another room that I didn't explore. Oh yes, exactly. And you can see here that we actually, you know, we have exactly tried to, you know, consciously sort of build this place in a way that you can feel that this is sort of a headquarters of Maelstromers, you know, a place that they could be staying, you know, potentially, and living. The Solo's manual, but Morgan Blackened. Okay, I think like this is the one that you guys should. This is the one that you should definitely read. You should definitely read this one, my friends. There is a very long questions and threads between Revolver and Uranium Bullet. Let me check it really quickly. Revolver says, regarding the labor of love, what do you think about the words that players who now appreciate the game are stupid because they have forgotten about Cyberpunk's state at launch? Some people think that Cyberpunk's comeback will make the studio allow itself to slip up at technical problems again because the players will forgive you eventually. I think it's pointless. It's obvious that you all want people to love the game at launch, and not to mention the stress of employees. I mean, of course, obviously, Revolver. Like, I don't think that the disaster that happened and the scale of that disaster can be forgotten. You know, like, that would require, like, I don't know what, like fucking time machine to really forget. You know, especially us devs. You know, for our everyday lives and work. Uranium Bullet continued the thread saying, appreciating the current state of game definitely doesn't make anyone stupid, but ignoring content issues and rejecting objective criticism is a fanboy fangirl manner definitely isn't doing the game of or CDPR any favors. As someone who wants 1.7 Phantom Liberty to drastically improve the game and make 2077 shine, it's mind-boggling seeing people do that, praise what they do right objectively and politely criticize what they don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to add here, my friends. Well phrased, and I really think that actually in majority of the conversations, this is exactly what's happening.
See the cams?
To be honest, you know, there's lots of people that really enjoyed the game at launch, especially the people that you know, liked what it was and didn't expect something else. You know, just played basically what they were given, especially when they were playing on the platforms that didn't have, you know, maybe the technical issues and some other shortcomings. You know, and for other players, I hope that we have managed to. I hope that we have managed to, you know, redeem the game a bit, at least, you know, from what it was till now. You know, it was like, you know, making all of those patches and changes. Like, there was not trivial work. Like, that's been years, right? That's been a lot of time, right? That's one of the reasons why they, you know. Why the expansion's taking some time, right? Because naturally, the patches took time to develop, right? I think that's not a surprise for anyone. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, and as you can see, like in this specific encounter, like we've been working actually to make sure that, you know, to provide you with a very interesting and intriguing like space. And here you can see, you know, as a player, that you can really like play it out in so many different ways, and especially I'm talking about pathing right now, you know, of ways of you to actually approach this this content and this space. Yeah, I remember like that when we were paying attention to, you know, to specifically be able to really tell you different stories about the space, you know, but if you want to like explore and actually get there, and you know, so that you will actually find, you know, yeah, those interesting places and spaces as I'm finding right now here. Like, those are all the things that you don't really have to do, but you know, like if you're interested, you can definitely go in and explore as a player. And I really love like making stuff in my quests, you know, things like this, so that you have really so much like side content and things to explore. Scorpion Road 50,000 pow-pows. Wow, that's insane. Imza asks, is there any ETA on Phantom Liberty? I mean, Imza, I as you can imagine, I can't naturally speak about the expansion, you know.
All right, you got it. Scan it, see if there's anything we can use. I'll watch the door.
Nah, knows exactly where to find him. She's stalling. Told you, Rogue's still scared of the asshole.
Mm-hmm. And like one of the things that we actually really wanted to do in this quest, and here you can see it actually in action, is like, you know, the fact that there is some kind of a, you know, story going on behind the scenes, and you don't really know exactly what's happening as a player. And you know, Johnny has his own theory, of course. You know, Rogue has some kind of a secrets. So, okay, let's check it. So there are some files and there are some messages, my friends. Oh. Witcher 2078 wrote, I was one of those. I got the hype on got on the hype train years before the launch, got myself Xbox Series X and ordered a hard copy of the game and had a blast with it. That's awesome. I'm glad, my friend. Feeling alone tonight? Hot Eusebio. I think we were reading about Hot Eusebio in the past. Nightmare. Player head will explode. Okay, this we also saw. Smasher to Grayson.
Like they're hiding out on the ship.
Okay, let's see what we turn up.
Here you go. Some kind of a hint, you know, that they are hiding there. Ah, okay. Me waiting for the files. Yeah. Smasher says, I told those gonks not to get in your way and keep away from the transporter. I'll leave the packages down on the waterfront. You sit tight on the Ebunike week. Everything will die down. Shit, think you might even start to feel at home. Anything happens, let me know. Do you like Smasher's wife? How Smasher's talking. Give it a New Yorker accent, Pavel. Jesus Christ, I don't think I have New Yorker accent in my repertoire, but you know, after some time in Boston and visiting New York, I may try it, you know. You will see me guys fucking develop in with your own eyes, you know, how I'm actually getting better in this shit. Okay, there is some kind of a shipment. Oh yeah, TP, you know, those are the drugs, yeah, that they were actually shipping, like, because as we established, basically the Ebunike is the entrance sort of port to the city, how they smuggle it. So, like, throughout all different files and the story, like, that is happening actually behind, you can really, I think, puzzle together what is really happening in a city. And here you have the receiver Sapo, okay, inspected by Kinney. Repackaged by Ronimo, transport to Totentans to Dum Dum. Here you go. Receipt confirmed by Tasha. Yep. Okay. NC only ironclad guarantee. Interesting. Guarantee. F for Dum Dum. Yep, exactly. Don't tell Michiko he's back. Sure. Pavel is going to have some coffee in Boston. Sure. I don't drink coffee, so probably not, but who knows. A Revolver says, do you have the title of the next Witcher? Of course, you can tell us what it is, but I'm curious if you can at least tell us that it's already established. No, Revolver, I can tell you that, because like that kind of shit, if I mention something regarding this, it's gonna be like a news update, it's gonna be a video or a article. So nope, I'm sorry, I'm really so sorry. Definitely need Turkish subtitles for stream. Only Yuk wrote. Okay, well, if you say so. Influences the stock. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's under the NDA, Furious for Ball, so, you know, naturally I can't. Okay, let's look at this. What it is? Oh, I know what it is. Okay, let me check it out, actually. My dears, because I'm hoping we can still play this quest today, and I think we can. It's obvious they're asking because they want to know if we can guarantee steady deliveries and keep a low profile from the cops and their respectable fucking competition. So tell them we're not going down and our distribution chain is impenetrable, just like your ass, but for the other reasons. But seriously, let them know the cargo arrives safely only on the ships we designate. The manifests are doctored by our own people, and we keep our transport rotating. So even if the badges launch a raid, the chances they find any time are damn near zero. We reload everything at Ebunike, then deliver there to Totentans and All Foods. Ain't right, no fuckable. We set routes at the last minute. We keep close tabs and monitor our delivers. The goods are picked up by dealers immediately and hit the streets. Easy breezy. A real fucking delight. Tell them not to pucker their contites because their interests are protected by Maelstrom, and Maelstrom is this city's only fucking ironclad guarantee. Good luck. This voice acting stem 10 out of 10, damn good. Oh, I really 10 out of 10? Guys, you're guys too kind. I'm literally shit in this. Okay, but anyway, I'll do my best. I'll be, you know, I really like reading those for you, so why not? Anyway, let's go. Loot those. Cool. Save the game. Okay, because we are about to... Just checking if there's anything I missed. But probably not. I played this quest quite a bit. You
There
probably
she
can
is.
imagine.
The Ebunike.
Not looking so hot.
Even shittier on the inside. Let's go.
Okay, rogue. Cool. Let's go, my dears. Let me go home, Smasher's wife. Why was that message as a file? Yogo prepared because it's not the message. It's a file, you know. So it's meant to ask yourself as a player, you know, the question why it's a file, not a message, you know. So that is of course conscious, you know. It's basically just lots of different like small storytelling tricks, sort of, so to say, that we are doing to make sure that you can as a player like ask yourself those questions and just wonder, you know, okay, what is it about and why, you know. And of course in this specific question, this person was preparing this as a message, right? Because you can see that this was as some kind of a description of how their routes are working, right? So the question is why it was like this and so on. So I hope that you can have some kind of a theory what's going on here. If you played all the quests with the Maelstrom, maybe you have a bit regarding like what it is.
You're here. I know you are.
Shit. Okay, well, think we are going up to the ship. Let's go to visit Ebunike, my dears. How do quest designers come up with the names of the quests? Megaho asks. We were talking about it quite a bit during the streams already, my friend.
Hard to believe he's got his hidey hole here.
Did you expect Smasher to put up a sign or something?
Yep. So like the thing is, like, we have normally basically worked together with our writers to figure out, you know, what is the best quest name for the quest. And very often actually throughout the process when you're working with a quest, you actually have lots of ideas. And that's the case, for instance, for the quest that I'm doing for you guys in Phantom Liberty. Like when I'm working on it, I actually already, you know, during the work, I very often have an idea of like, oh yeah, you know, that's the way I want to name it, you know, because it's kind of cool, references things, you know, it ties up correctly with the content. So normally we are trying to give it a name that actually corresponds with the type of content it is. And when it comes to all of the quests regarding Johnny Silverhand in Cyberpunk, all of those quests are actually having the names of the samurai songs, and those are all the quests that I did. So when I was working on the quests, I wanted to keep the cohesive approach with the naming of the quests, being like, okay, everywhere we use the names of the songs from 80s and 90s. So here I will actually use the name of the songs, but the names for the songs of Johnny, because my quests are a part of this Johnny Silverhand's storyline in a whole game, and all of them, that's why they're called like a Supreme, Chippin In, Cool Metal Fire, Dancing with My Axe. All of those quests are actual names of the samurai songs from the lore, and so on. So, Pavel, do you need any help with ideas of the songs? I mean, with the ideas of the quest? Cyber Vesna, of course I do. Of course I do. You need to, you know,
Okay.
join
Why
us.
are you even doing this?
I'm settling a score.
Avenging Johnny?
That too.
Uh-huh. Okay, Rogue. Sayonara Station, yeah. So that's one of the. Very interesting. Very interesting. What's the passcode? I don't remember it. Oh yeah, the Solus manual. We read that already. Why is that door only available after finishing the game at least one time? I don't know, Machiavelli. Maybe it's one of those things for you guys to discover. Like as I told you, like because like in all of the content, in all of the quests, you know, we are not doing random shit, and this is my quest. So I tell you that there's nothing that is accidental here. Not a single chat, not a single shard, not a single message. You know, if you put together things, you will know what I mean. Anyway.
No. Interesting.
Now I know who jumped King Tao last month. Thoroughly pro-work.
Sure it was this exact merge.
679275PN1H. Sent 3 crews out myself to find it for the Chinese.
Yep.
Whole city was after it. Gotta admit the bastard's good.
Yep. Real fucking preem. Now we find and kill the bad guy, okay?
Yeah. So here you have basically a bit of a backstory building. It's actually interesting because like I have seen actually a lot of people never find this, you know, those additional things that I have left here. So here I basically built you a bit of a backstory, actually what's happening, you know, and what Smasher has been doing, and you can learn a bit of the, you know, a bit about the stories and things he was doing. Good night, Small Sandayo. Thank you so much, Kira, for being here with us. I really appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, and here you have the message about Sovoil, exactly. So basically here, this is the part of the storytelling when I'm actually preparing you as a player for the trip to the oil fields, right? Try to find that woman. I will, Pablo. He learned a lot smuggling there, exactly. And there was someone's comment that he was smashing David's crew. Oh yeah, Machiavelli wrote he was smashing David's crew in that time. Yep. Pretty much, my friend, pretty much. But you can basically puzzle together, actually, like, what is he, you know, what is he doing? Or rather, what was he doing, you know? In the time when he was here.
Fuck, you hear that?
Grayson!
Oh shit.
No, not that. Fucker's shooting at me with my own gun.
Yep.
3516. Signature.
We must have been seen, actually.
Get out alive! Come on!
Oh, I think Rogue shot him. Did she? I think she did, actually. I think she was like super fucking effective and she went in and shot him. Yep. Thanks, Johnny. There is also this one thing. Yes. Sign the petition. Flyer, April 23, 2021. In defiance of citywide protests, the push to new oil wells rages on, putting our surrounding ecosystems at serious risk. If you are against the illegal exploitation of this land, please sign a petition. Together, we can make a difference. Your vote matters, and the criminal devastation of the Badlands. Yep, this is like part of course, of the storytelling here. And we have some interesting audio files here. Oh, I think, but I don't think I can play them because we have already... Shit, we have already triggered Grayson. Pablo, now you can't check that woman's clue. Even if you were sneaking, you wouldn't be able, because as soon as you get within range, the fight starts. Yeah, I know that. I know that. I mean, it used to be possible, I believe, but I don't think it's anymore. You know, I can check her like this, though. You know, and find her here, you know, shot in the chest 4 days ago. Yeah, poor woman, unfortunately. By the way, I'm not sure if you guys have heard the recordings here. I hope you did. Okay then. I have Smasher. Homie needs to clean. Yeah, exactly. You're right. It was possible in the beginning, not anymore though. Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's something I need to look into, like myself. But anyway, that's a separate topic. Let's continue because, like, I think like Grayson basically I must have seen us when I was here, and when I shot him, I assume so. Let me. He saw us being nosy, exactly.
Grab the gun.
Hello. That's the beauty.
Not yours, I don't think.
Ooh, achievement unlocked.
Oh my, Rogue. You and me not playing for the same team anymore? Guess I'm not at all surprised. Seems your specialty. Slipping shivs in the backs of allies.
Oh shit.
Where's Smasher?
Wow, it's you know, and here you can you can see it. You know, we were actually trying to basically build here like the most as much as we can. You know, the background.
To be squeezed.
Pablo wrote, that's what I'm talking about. This quest is a bit buggy. If that's the case, Pablo, I will take a look into it for sure, for sure. Because as I did like most of the scripting and so on, this is something I worked on here. So hopefully I can take care of that.
You're not wriggling out of this, you lying sack of shit.
There are like cool questions and so on in the chat, but I'm not sure. I'll try not to pick the choices accidentally and pick it. Jadunio says, I have a small bone to pick with the Witcher quest gameplay design. When Geralt tracks monsters in the forest, shouldn't he be able to identify what is immediately by the tracks? And also, when you're making a new game, it would be really cool to structure the quest so that the player actually pops up some thinking into the tracking instead of just following red markings on the map. I would be way more engaging. Jadunio, that's a conversation that we had actually with the team internally as well. You know, that we saw it as a sort of a shortcoming and a weakness of the designs that we have done. I think like early at the stages of the designing the Witcher 3 quest, we had ideas and we have been flirting with the, you know, with a notion of like, hey, yeah, maybe we could, you know, do this or that and so on. But at the end we opted, you know, with the variant that we have right now because like it didn't really work that well. But for sure there is a solution and a way to do that. I think Adams sees a bit of himself in Grayson when he was younger. He made a name for himself in the streets and has the same amp rating. Interesting comment, Smasher's wife. I like that I like your line of thinking. You missed the laptop, by the way, Smasher's wife wrote. Yeah, I missed like a bunch of things actually. Here when it comes to like the written materials and so on. But let's focus on this dialogue because I really wanted to, at least on this stream, you know, at least get to the oil fields. I'm not sure if we'll be able to play that whole conversation there, but we'll see. Grayson's gonna bleed to death. Yeah, exactly.
I'd start talking if I were you. Wound looks pizza wreck awful, and I don't see no one around who could help.
But I'm happy to talk. Ever wonder how Rogue survived after the attack on the tower? How in hell no one ever hunted her down? Her alone. Out of all that Atlantis trash. 'Cause I do. I truly wonder how far she had to go to set herself up so comfy.
Yep.
Who'd she finger fuck? Whose crack did she have to lick to... Ugh!
Yeah, I wonder exactly, Wizegi, like we wanted to give it here as much background as we can, you know, so like basically make the player really question her motives and actually what
tell her, Rogue.
Actually what happened
before her time.
What's he going on about?
He's trying to throw you off. Gonk thinks he can still squirm out of this.
Okay. Revolver said, I have a question about the Witcher lore. is the Order of the Witchers the whole story, which the split of the Brotherhood and the birth of the witch schools that appeared in Gwent and some other sources canonical for CDPR? If so, why did you decide to include such important lore information in smaller titles instead of leaving it for the big RPGs? It is not canon, does that mean we're unlikely to see this topic in a future games anyway? Oh, Revolver, super difficult question. I really, I am not 100% sure if this is canon or not, because that was not something that I've been working on. So I can't tell at this point. By default, the way it works is that what we are doing is canon, unless we like sort of obviously clearly say that it's not, you know. So that is always, you know, the approach that we are taking. When it comes to the why it's in the smaller titles instead of the big one, because you cannot like put everything into one game, because there is a limited amount of sort of backstory and talking and then explaining you can give to the player. And there is just limited capacity of the brain and you know, screen time you can have with those things. It's not that you can cram in everything. So that's always also a reason partially. Like, I remember that was both in cases of Witcher, but in Cyberpunk, when we are talking about like some pieces of lore and some things, then we were like, no, we can't really make all of it, you know, go into the game, because there's no really a way for us to cover that. So that's I would say the important bit that I wanted to mention. You know, like there are things that you just need to leave out as a creator.
Where's Smasher now?
With the Arasakas. But I think you know that already.
When's he due back?
Never. Faithful old Adam's just been named head of security there.
Oh, I wonder why that happened.
Not coming back to this rat hole ever. I stayed behind just to tie off his loose ends.
Shit!
Could say that again. You two will never jump that high. Smasher's out of your reach. But don't feel bad. He'll find you himself. Likes to resolve shit like this in person.
Oh God. Okay, let's fucking question him.
Smasher, ass face.
Even if I wanted to, he don't trust me enough to.
Yeah, I did it in a way that you can get the Porsche in both ways,
anyway?
So don't worry, my chums.
Interested in Silverhand.
That
And
was
what
like, of
happened?
course, consciously built.
Johnny Silverhand? What do you want to know?
Silverhand's iron. You had it.
What? You a fan too?
Smasher give it to you?
Uh-huh. Reward for a special job well done.
Here you go, you know. So like one of the things that I really wanted to do, you know, in this quest is like build it, you know, slowly, so that as a player you are like slowly getting the gear of Johnny, you are getting his weapon, you are getting his car, his girlfriend, you know, you're slowly basically building up and in a way becoming him, you know, and that was basically my sneaky way to sort of seduce you as a player with the notion of actually you really feeling slowly like Johnny himself and really almost being like him. So that was the intention, you know, behind that.
Smasher ever tell you what he did with Silverhand's body?
That into him, huh? Plan to exhume that scop? Or you just want to hear how he died, soaked in his own piss, neurons scorched by Soul Killer?
What did they do with him?
Badlands, near the oil fields. Buried out there. 101 northbound. Then head for the landfill.
God damn it.
Dig deep enough. Might even find a shit-smeared
Heard
silver
enough.
arm.
Finish him,
Let's end this
fucker.
quickly. Want to rip my eyes out just looking at him.
No, wait. I got something. Silverhand. You're into him, right?
So how are you guys feeling about Grayson?
He deserve extinction? Do I end him?
Yes. Meaning, do what you think is right.
Smasher's got something that was Johnny's.
Oh, interesting.
Could be yours. Just gotta let me live.
Yeah. Did you guys ever found out actually what happens if you let him live, actually?
How'd Smasher wind up with Johnny's stuff?
Because like,
Told me
oh,
Silverhand
Camille, you said yes.
ordered
So what happens?
Body.
I'm curious
And he
actually,
ain't all
because I've
sun-greased.
never seen this people
Sold
discover
most of
this
it.
actually.
Except the Malorian. And what I got.
Okay, well,
You got lucky today.
Turning soft on me.
What I promised. In the container. On that Goliath over there.
What's inside?
okay.
You'll see. Got the access card right here.
Well, a rogue beats him, but she doesn't kill him, right? Like, it's a different thing about, like, hitting him and fucking shooting him, right? Like, it is. So,
For fuck's sake.
yeah. So she didn't kill him, right? Like, she knocked him, but he is alive. Very much alive, you know?
Pointless. This whole thing. Still no leads, nowhere to go from here.
Fuck. V, tell her.
Johnny says you'll get him yet.
Oh yeah? We'll tell him? Fuck. Can't even have a normal convo with him.
Smasher,
Fuck! You don't get it. This isn't about Smasher. He's just the goddamn tip of the iceberg. Even if we get him, what does that get us? No reason to stay. I'm out.
not at all curious?
She seems not to be curious. Okay, well.
Leave her alone, V. She'll get it together. But times like this, she prefers to be alone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I get that.
Gotta get that container down somehow.
Okay.
If
Well,
there's something of mine in there, I want it back.
no worries, Johnny.
Okay.
We'll
Looking
take
for the
care
control
of it.
panel.
So, guys, I was asking because, like, do you know who was Ruby? Do you remember Ruby? You know, the one that we have. Met in the one that we have met in the strip club. You know. Yep. Exactly. So. She was his girlfriend, right? Like, and well, I have, through her, got to him, right? What do you think he will do when I will leave him alone? Yeah, there's many things in this game you guys still didn't find. But anyway, so that's why I shot him.
There it is.
Woo! Okay. Cool. Well, you know, let's go and let's see what happens. Anyway, my dears, I hope that, you know, what I said will just get you thinking. This is... no, this is the one with the files that I can't listen anymore to. There was yet another laptop. Yes, this is the girl. I think... oh, right, because I haven't been on the second floor. I forgot about that. Now I want to try leaving him alone for once. Well, you just, yeah, you know, when you leave him alone, you just need to think, you know, what could happen and so on. But anyway, you guys will figure this out. I know you will. I know you will figure this out. Yep, some tripthet. So those are basically the drugs that the guys were referring to. Some nice place when they are growing them, very clearly. I love the verticality in this game, by the way. There's like always, you know, there's like always some more stuff that you can find as a player when you just manage to, you know, climb somewhere or like rather jump somewhere. I didn't manage. Oh well. Maybe I'll manage here. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, you know, like, that's the thing, like, when we're building our games, like, we always think, you know, about all of those possibilities, right? Like, you as a player just exploring and just, like, finding stuff on your own, you know, and just, like, going for shit because you see it as an interesting thing, you know, that probably contains something. So, in most cases, we're trying to make it in a way for you that it actually, in fact, does have something interesting for you to find, Yes. Beelzebub's tales to his grandson. I'm curious, guys, if you know what it is. Love these details. Bob the Baldy wrote, thank you, Bob. I really appreciate you, my friend. That's really like,
Oh, fuck. Think I know what it is.
I do. We're always striving, to just like give you games like this, Okay, guys, so this is like, I have to tell you, this is like one of my most fucking favorite moments in the game that I really wanted to really try to pull off, in this quest. This moment of reveal.
Let's see what we got here.
You can see the key going in. And just opening this up. Woo.
Take that rag off it.
Okay.
Okay.
Woohoo!
My ride.
And
I'll
this.
even let you drive.
Oh, thanks, Johnny. And it was like important, to get this like small detail in that I really wanted to get this simulation in, so when we have the cloth, you really like pull it off and you see this reveal of this car to just give it the proper like, vibe and a proper kick, so it's not just that you open a door and it's there. It could be like that, right? But it's not, because like, why not go extra, like step extra and just do something really awesome,
Like a dream.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's go see where they fucking planted my ass.
Yeah, and I was just, I find it something really poetic in that you can like just drive his own car and drive it out
The thing between you and Rogue was that serious.
and drive
damn
to
right
find
it
his body,
When we met up, someone always died.
Oh, so very romantic. Definitely your style.
There was always something going on. She had a gig, I had a gig. Music, that is. Was never run-of-the-mill. Although did try to take her to
What
see
the hell?
a flick once.
Sorry, guys.
And nothing came of it, as usual.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've never heard that dialogue. Oh, because maybe you have done something, because there's like lots of different non-linear ways you can play this, and like if you as a player you just do different things, then of course things won't trigger a will. Cry during this quest. Oh, I'm so fucking glad, because I've done everything I could, to make you cry, and the Michał Brzeźniak, the cinematic designer, Marcin Przybyłowicz, with the music here. That was the fucking intention, really.
Not far now.
Worse than I thought.
Yeah. And I really wanted to create this feeling, that sort of like when you go here and drive, to the place where Johnny's body is, I really wanted to make sure that you will see that they literally have him for nothing, and I
Okay, gotta be around here somewhere.
okay.
Can't believe they bothered to truck it all the way out here.
Better than the junkyard where I landed.
And it's like, that's the thing, like, I really wanted to make it
So that's how it is.
in a way that when you just arrive,
Nothing here at all.
you just don't find fucking anything. There's no grave, there's no body, there's no place that they actually just planted him. And that's why, like, look at this place, right? I wanted it to be that when you arrive here, it looks as fucking shit as only possible. Like, my intention was to really put you in this position as a player that you arrive and Johnny was hoping to find his body when they shot him and so on. And do you guys remember, sorry, I literally forgot the movie about the life of Chopin from 1984, I believe the movie was. There is this moment, sorry, not Chopin, Mozart, Jesus Christ, what the hell I'm talking about.
it was like such an incredible moment when Amadeus, exactly Pablo. So Amadeus is like one of my favorite movies of all times. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about and you don't know what Amadeus is, just please go and watch it. I think you can find it for free in many places nowadays. The thing is, like, Amadeus has this, and you know, again, it probably won't be a spoiler, but there is this moment that inspired me in Amadeus to actually make this. So in Amadeus, there's this moment with of the burial at the very, very end of the burial of the whole movie. And I just don't want to spoil you the movie too much, but it's similar to what has happened to Johnny. Basically, he is getting buried. He was getting buried in a way that like nobody would think that the genius he was would be buried in such a way. And here you have the Johnny Silverhand, the same person, you know, a similar person in a way. And like when I watched Amadeus, it like inspired me so much when I was thinking about this. So I know that this is probably not a inspiration that you would think of, you know, when you're thinking about Cyberpunk and Amadeus, you know, quite far away from each other. But when I thought about the story arc in that moment here, I wanted you to arrive at this equivalent of a graveyard, literally at the end of Amadeus when he's getting buried with completely no honors, as a complete no-name. Nobody fucking knows who he is, and he's getting buried like this. And this was literally the inspiration. And of course, dialogues here were written by Ola Motyka, but the large part was also done by Marcin Blaha, our story director. Marcin has done such an incredible job with this, and I think all of those things coming together here give you this. And I think it's 10 more minutes. I'm not sure. I don't want to rush this scene, but let's start at least.
What did you expect? Headstone, flag, and flowers?
No, I don't know. A marker, something, anything.
Yeah, and you can see that like he is sort of going through this grief with himself, with the fact that there's fucking nothing, right? Like they dumped his body and they didn't even feel like scratching that this is where his body is dumped, and you don't know where is it. It's been 15 years. Who the fuck knows where that body is? And I consciously built it in a way that you don't even know exactly if this is the spot or somewhere else, you know, because he was like brought here with completely no honors, nothing, you know. And that's why for me it was really really important here to give you this moment as a player to inscribe his symbol, his initials.
Really need symbolic, empty gestures.
Guess I do. Thought I'd feel like I'd closed a chapter here. Like I'd said goodbye to the old Silverhand. Hello to the new.
And how do you feel?
Like I never even was. Or like I was still inside Mikoshi.
Yeah. And like that scene is like consciously, emotionally pulling out the strings for you. So that, you know, pulling the strings on your heart, you know, because this is the moment when a lot of players like felt this breakthrough, you know, with a relationship with Johnny. By the way, why did you move Meredith Stout's body? Morphin asks. What do you mean, Morphin? What do you mean by move Meredith Stout's body? I don't think I have moved it in any way. My friend, I don't think I have moved it in any way. Not sure what you mean, Morphin. Her body underwater is gone. Are you using mods at the moment? No, I'm not. This is just vanilla game on last patch, right? I've never heard about her body being gone. I will check it, Morphin. I've never heard of her body. After a patch it disappeared. Really strange. Okay. Thank you, Morphin, for making me aware. I'll take a look what happened. I don't think that is the case. Like nobody has been moving her consciously, at least.
We'll figure something out.
You know, that's why, you know, here, you know, we added this option so that you as a player, you can just, you know, like
Better
just
now.
use a rock and just like scratch it here.
A bit.
And
Unless
sort of
it was my real grave. What would you write? Here lies Johnny Silverhand.
yeah, and this was like one of those amazing moments, you know. I think like in our games and in Cyberpunk, you know, like the fact that you can really you can really like just feel the guy, right?
V,
So what
you
are we
alright?
picking, guys? What are you feeling? Guy who saved my life, Night City Legend. Yeah, I see a lot. Sorry, the chat went like live really quickly now. Guys who saved my life. Terrorist. I've picked the last one. The guy who saved my life, Cogito.
Wanna talk?
Yeah, do you think like, the guy who saved my life?
The guy who saved my life.
V, you don't know how much I want that to be true. Listen, I realize I fucked up a lot of things.
And music, yeah, 10,000 out
Either
of
let
10.
down
Yeah.
or used every last person who gave me their trust. Blind, selfish bastard that I was. But I've managed one thing for now. Not to fuck this up. What we have.
Yeah. Glassolaria wrote you fucked up too, Johnny. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
V,
that dialogue is
all
incredible.
right?
Like the Marcin Blaha is fucking awesome. So, is this the climax? The question is, well, I mean, so are we going with this one? Yeah. Yeah, you know what we are doing, right?
No, Johnny, you fucked that up too. You used me. Lied to me. Can't trust you at all.
Is it too late to ask for a second chance?
You know, that is an interesting, you know, setup, right? Like, because I remember discussing this so many times with Marcin Blaha, actually, like how we should, you know, make it, you know, that you,
Wanna talk?
as you said, you know, should we like actually sort of show the player that like being honest with him here is the way to fix this relationship in a way and put it back on track, you know? Or is just being nice a solution, right? And I think the games that just teach us that, yeah, you just need to be nice. And when you're nice, then people are nice to you. And when people are nice to you, then
what's up?
everything is fine, right? And this is not how the life works, right? In the life, you need to have those tough conversations sometimes. You need to have sometimes an arguments. Sometimes you need to tell your friend, your partner, things that they don't want to hear, you know? And that's basically the way we've been always thinking about this. Anyway, so what you guys feeling now? Too late? This was your second chase? What do you want from me? Are we giving him a chance? Yeah.
What do you want from me?
Most people I thought were my friends. They couldn't even stand to be in the same room with me. You're fucking closest to me by a long shot. There, 24/7.
Yeah.
And yet, you don't seem to hate my living guts. At least so it seemed. Till now.
Okay, but as second chances go, this is your last. It's not a hate. Just had enough of you. So are we telling him this is his last fucking chance? Yeah. Antonix Arena wrote this was the first and last time I felt sorry for him.
I mean, so I think okay, you're but as second chances go, this is your last. I think let's go with this one.
But as second chances go, this is your last. I refuse to be that naive.
Yeah.
I'll try damned hard.
This relationship with Johnny's entangled
Johnny
as fuck.
Silverhand, relentless rocker boy who never gives up.
V.
We really tried
First
to make it
among
really.
suckers.
We really tried to make it untangled. So we were a real dick in the beginning. Shame we didn't talk like this earlier. Maybe the second one? How you guys feel? You were a real dick?
Wanna talk?
Fucking hell. Okay, let's go.
You were a real dickwipe at first.
You sort of deserved it.
Thanks,
Remember
Johnny.
waking up at Victor's not knowing about me? I'm seeing things. I'm scared. Then moaning at Misty's about how you didn't want to die.
Remember you whining for smokes in the middle of the night, complaining about not being able to kill me.
Never thought we'd make it this far.
Sorry guys, I know that we're almost at the end of the stream, but I want to finish this conversation and I'm saving, and then that would be it. When you said you let down your friends, still feels like you can't breathe?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, maybe the first one, yeah.
When you said you let your friends down, did you mean Rogue?
Rogue, Alt, Carrie, Santiago.
Not all's lost yet. At least with Rogue.
Can't pretend nothing's changed over 50 years. Can't just insert myself into her life.
Come on, already have. Close to the stream with this song. I mean, what is the better way? Yeah, I think so, right?
Come on. Already have.
True that. You know, did promise her I'd take her to the movies.
Thank you,
long
Jennifer.
ago.
Good idea.
Jennifer said this
Call
game
her
made me
for
so
me.
emotional,
Ask
no
if
other
she's
game
free
came even
some night.
close.
Thing is, you'd have to surrender control. Again.
Okay, so what? Calling Road?
Yeah. I'll call her.
Okay. Let's Delta. Nothing to see here after all.
Worth coming out all the same.
Absolutely. Thanks, V. Of all the heads I could have popped up in, hella glad it was yours.
Thanks, Johnny. Okay, well, you know, yeah, we're almost there, Virodine. I know what you're thinking about. I know. Few more months and we'll reach Carrie. My dears, I think that we are going to save the game here, and I'm going to, yes, that's Blistering Love. That's the next one that we are going to do. Because why not? Time to continue. This is also like Blistering Love. That's also my quest. So we will be finishing this up. Let me quit the game and save it. That's been some fucking adventure, I have to tell you, my friends. There was a question how many hours I already have. 265. I think like 265 I had on Cyberpunk before the stream, so it's like 267 right now. I think like we will be below 300 when we finish the game. That's my estimate. At least this is how I feel. Anyway, my dears, thank you so much for being with me here. I'll play some music because why not? Maybe this time something spicy. Let me look for something spicy that I really wanted to play, and I will leave you with that. Oh, that was not the idea, but yes, but now I have it. So, my dears,
it was amazing to play with you, to have a meeting with Colin, you know, at the beginning of the stream to talk about game audio, programming. This is something, you know, to really make us all emotional, because this is what being a human means. Doesn't it? I think so. My dears, thank you so much for being here. I missed you. It was an amazing month, you know, to rest, to travel, but it's fucking good to be back. And I had amazing time today. And I wanted to thank all the Reds and moderators that have been here. Starting from my dear girlfriend Sapphire. Thank you so much for modding, for being with us, for hacking the chat today. Thank you so much, Cogito, for being with us as always. Thank you for all the gifted subs. You are amazing. And now all of the Reds. Ayano, our UI producer. Thank you so much, Monica. Chivok, our customer support engineer. Mike, thank you for being here. Small Sandayu Kira, our in-game photographer. Bartek Pirko, our level designer. And everyone else who I didn't see. And of course, Colin, our engineering director and audio programmer. Thank you to all of you. And thank to all of the viewers. You guys are the best. We are going to see each other in a week from now. And we are going to continue playing Cyberpunk. This time, the blistering love. I'm leaving you with this banging music. Have an amazing week. Bye-bye.
So what do you want?